I realized that we weren't actually live, but now we're live. Took a second. I didn't exactly know what I was doing, but now I do. So we're live, and we're actually. This is crazy. So this is the first time I've ever done a StreamYard out in public, using my Pixel 8 Pro. You saw me in my previous video where I climbed the top of the mountain, top. So this is really cool. Being able to do StreamYard is actually kind of wild. Welcome to the show, everybody. It is I, your glorious host, the one with the most. I think I got the nicest, roundest booty out on YouTube. I might, if there was like a best ass award for a YouTuber, it would be me. I got a sweet, juicy badonkadonk, and I think people realize that. But this is cool. So yeah, like I said, you guys saw me go up the mountain, the hill, and then went back down. It was a fun little climb, I got to admit. So we saw a deer up there that was really cool. But I think we might go on StreamYard for about an hour. I'm not too sure how long we'll be doing this for. But it's going to be fun. We're going to have we're going to have a few guests on. We're going to try to at least have a few guests on and see where the stream goes. We'll see what an hour's worth of this type of stream does. I thought it was going to be vertical. I guess it isn't, unfortunately. But that's okay. A horizontal stream is just as worth it. Let me see if Tim Smith is wanting to get on real quick. If I guess, copy this. Give me 1 second, folks. I'm going to try to get Mr. Tim Smith in on this if he's bored. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. There was a brief interruption. I had to make sure that my boy Tim Smith was aware that we were doing a live. I just didn't want him to miss out on this. This was very spontaneous, by the way. I thought, well, what if we tried StreamYard? If we tried StreamYard at the park. So never done this. I've never done StreamYard on any of my phones, so this is a first. We are at Mingus Park, and we might be able to get a few guests on, oddly enough. And it will be interesting. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of feedback, but we'll see what happens. It's going to be very, very interesting. I don't have my headphones with me either, so I don't know how it's going to be like to have a guest on, but it's going to be pretty cool either way. But I'm glad you guys have joined us so far, whoever's joining us so far, at least. So we're talking about really just kind of investing. We're going to keep an eye out for any guests that come in. You might see a little bit of Tim Smith here in a second. If you are going to join, though, try to let me know in the chat so I can at least keep an eye out. Let's see. Mr. Donaldson said, "Good to see you caught your breath." Absolutely, my brony brother. I had to catch my breath out here, but feeling good, feeling ready. Yeah, I needed to definitely sit down for a sec because that was honestly, I don't. If you guys watched the whole stream, it's a big hill, and then it's a steep hill, steeper than one would think. And but I was able to do it. You know, it's climbed the mountain top. I love going up that hill though. It's good. Really, you feel it in all your legs. Basically, that's really the thing is you feel it in your legs. Feels good. But yeah, anybody. So I see it's good to see Michael Donaldson in the room. So we got Mr. Donaldson, and we'll show Mr. Donaldson on stage real quick here. So like I said, it's not as. I will admit this isn't as easy on the mobile device as it would be on the computer. Using StreamYard on the computer is a little easier, but it is. I don't even know if StreamYard actually has an app. Now that I think about it, if they do, I probably should try to download the StreamYard app. But I think that they're just web based only, which is probably smart of them to do. Keep some people going to the website and sticking to the website and everything. So, but then again, I mean, more people are doing live stuff on the mobile phone every day. But it feels good to be able to like highlight comments is another reason why I want to try this. Now, this isn't a vertical live, obviously. This is just straight up a horizontal live. But see, let's see. Did you? Meister Donaldson says, did you tell it in your arse like at your Diddy parties? Make sure you guys like the video. By the way, we need more likes on this. On this, we're trying to get these lives, the horizontal lives, a little more popular because more people can click on the links. By the way, with every link, just as a heads up, I do get a small commission as I'm an Amazon associate. So any product you purchase, it is products that I've used before and that I firmly believe in. And yeah, I get a small commission, no additional cost to you. So that's just a heads up. But full disclaimers in the descriptions below. But did you tell it in your arse? Like, yeah. The Didster, dude, the Didster has become an icon for this show. Mr. Diddy has. But yeah, anybody who wants to get on in, man. Let's see. Mr. Donaldson says this setup is the worst yet, difficult to write. Yeah, it's a weird one. I gotta admit, the horizontal ones are decent, but um, as much as I prefer horizontal, the truth is the money's really in the vertical. Vertical lives, man, bring more eyeballs to the show, and I sadly have to adjust the show to where the eyes are at. Maybe if I get to 10K, 10,000 subscribers, I might be able to kind of loosen the reins a little bit. I do enjoy this. I will say this though. One thing, that's just all right, dude. Feel not tell my bad. Yeah, I mean, I like this setup. It's pretty solid. Gets me going. It's good shit. Hell yeah. Feel not. But yeah, overall, anybody who wants to join, we'll see. We got no participants at the moment, but the invite link, I will say, is right there. I'm gonna put this. So anybody who wants to join in on the show, just so type in StreamYard.com and then slash that code you see on the screen. I know it's a little bit difficult, but it's the best I could do at the moment. This is a very different setup for sure. I'm going to read some of the comments, but I'm not going to show them on the stage real quick. Beautiful weather over there. Let's see. Well, let me share the referral link real quick. Beautiful weather. Yeah, it's very gorgeous out here, man. I love it out here. It sucks because this stupid this little share your referral link thing is getting in the way. Trying to get more people to sign up for StreamYard, which is smart. That's a good way to do it. Spam the referral link. I get it. Mm-mm-mm. No, yeah. It's good shit, though. Yeah, the weather's been looking pretty good. Well, here's a question. We got a question here. Let's see. Let's look at the guests. No guests yet. How will AI affect crypto? Well, first off, if we have quantum computers and we got AI, here's the problem that I foresee, and I think that most of the encryption algorithms are already outdated in most of the cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrency is a scam anyway, so the whole networks are going to get cracked pretty easily by quantum computing. They're going to be able to figure out the cryptographic sequences through trial and error, basically. But quantum computers can do so many calculations. It's crazy. It is wild to think about that, actually. Super cool. But yeah. But yeah, I think crypto is a scam, obviously. So we can put that down. Crypto is a scam. So that's what I think about that one. S47AS. I think it's all bullshit. Let's see what else we got here. But here, let me get the link up again, just in case anybody wants to join. Might get a little strongman personal finance, maybe. Hopefully, maybe a little Tim Smith. I welcome all guests as long as you don't show your dong. You know, it's kind of the key. But yeah, we'll see what happens, man. I think we shall see what's going to happen. I don't know. It's fun to chill out up here, though. I love it. Well, so we don't have a lot of questions. I do have a bug on the screen here. Get out of here, bud. I don't want to hurt him. Oh, the wind took him off, so that's good. Um, hmm. Sorry, folks. Still thinking here. Hmm. Diddy in the park. This is kind of one of the more boring episodes. It's a horizontal stream, so I'm not going to get a bunch of eyeballs. But maybe later on, maybe let's get a few more eyeballs, hopefully. Such a good spot to chill out, though. Have any guests? Out and about, though, so he may not be home at the moment. But hopefully, Tim Smith, if he does wind up at home, might be able to be a last-second guest on the Michael Garza show live in the park, Diddy-style. So it's going to be very interesting. But we'll see who we can get in this terrible, terrible idea. But yeah, overall, let's see. We can say that crypto's a scam. That's obvious. But and me personally, I love betting against it. That's where I get like most of my money from, like, swing trading primarily. So when you're swing trading, it's kind of a lost art because there's no time frame in which you sell or buy. You just kind of buy whatever you want to get, and you hold forever as long as you need to hold. There's really no time frame at all. So I would much prefer swing trading over day trading. Day trading has much more pressures because you are literally giving yourself a deadline. Usually it could be a day or two. I think anything that's within a week is kind of day trading, as odd as that sounds. But I mean, I do swing trade in a week if I need to. I call it trickle swing trading. So I'll buy, like, if I feel something is worth buying in bulk, I'll buy a pretty good amount of shares in it. I love bear markets, though. I love when the markets crash. That's like a really huge thing for me. I'm constantly buying indexes, all that shit. So see if we got Tim Smith on. No Tim Smith yet. Will we see Tim Smith show up, though? We don't know yet. We'll see. But anybody who wants to be on, you would be the first guests ever. I don't know if there's ever been a live streamer who's StreamYarded here. You would be the first in Mingus Park, at least. I don't think there's ever been a Mingus Park StreamYard before, so this is a first. Where, like, we're having a group meeting, I got you on a tripod, you get to see the world as it is. It's good shit. Let's see. Solid, though, solid. See if we can get a little Tim Smith action. I don't know if Tim Smith is in the building at the moment, but hopefully he will be. But anyway, if anybody wants to get in on this action, man, you can get in, get out. The link is right there. You just got to type it in, basically. I might try to somehow let me see if I can put the link. Destinations and time. Yeah, here we go. Okay, the link is in the description now. Join. Let's get some people in. We got to get one guest before we end this at any point. Yeah, there we go. And then we'll just save those changes. There we go. Now you guys can join the live stream if you're seeing the link. I put the link in the description below, but I also have the link on the screen too, just so that way everybody's got an opportunity to join in. You could be the first guest in Mingus Park, and to be on a Zoom style meeting. I think I'm pretty sure people have done Zoom meetings, but never a live stream in this capacity. So this is a first. You guys are making history. But yeah, let me know if you guys, whoever's joining in, follow the link in the description below. And then if not, if the link is not working the way it should be, obviously just type it out manually in the browser. But yeah, We can get some people on, man. I'm stoked, dude. Get a little StreamYard action. It's the way to go. Maybe we'll get, who knows, might even get strongman personal finance, you know, if we're lucky. But that's the goal, man. To get as many people on board. Who knows? Maybe somebody will want a surprise interview. Can walk up to the bench, be like, I want to get interviewed. I'd be like, all right, I'll interview you. Random interviews are fun. But let's talk about the, I guess we'll talk about investing while waiting for a guest to pop up on the on here. And if you're having any trouble joining, just let me know. Yeah, if you have any trouble joining, just let me know. We gotta get more people on the stream. StreamYard at the park. Expand upon this a little bit. I'm just glad it's only 2:04 right now. You know, I was had a pretty good day, but I was just like, I definitely want to be outside and enjoy the weather. Got a good walk in. That hill really is seriously a hell of a walk, though, you guys. I'm not lying. That shit's crackberry. But yeah, overall, we might be able to get a few people in on this, and any sort of guests we can get, the better. So that's really the goal. But yeah, this is just an exciting place to do. I love how peaceful it is up here. It's just nice. So anytime I could do a show, definitely doing a show up here whenever I can. Yeah, anybody wants to join in on the chat, please. Let's see. So, how would you invest a huge amount of cash, like 60K? That's a good question. So, how would I invest if you gave me 60K, or if I had 60K? We'll just say if I had 60K in my own money. Hold on. I would be a guest, lol, but I'm eating a salad in my truck, about to get. Oh, you're good, brother. You good? But yeah, if you're the 60K question, you know, if I have 60K just sitting around, how would I invest it? That's the question. Pretty simply put, I would try to get into as many ETFs as I possibly could to start. Actually, I might even take a bit of a different approach than I usually would. Since I know what good companies are for the most part, I'm gonna take a different approach than I normally would. So if I had 60K, if you gave me $60,000, if I just had it sitting around the bank, I would definitely try to invest at least, because there's no commission fees, so you can technically diversify pretty early without even having to get ETFs. But it is good to have a ton of ETFs in your portfolio that are quality. Obviously, you don't want bullshit ETFs. But I would let's see. I think 20%. Oh, that's a good question, actually. Hold on. So I think I'd try to make 15 to 20% of my portfolio would equal probably covered call ETFs, I think, and ETFs that do derivative call contracts that expire 30 days out. That would be 20% of my overall portfolio, probably. And the reason for that is one, covered calls, derivative income is really smart, and covered calls are great, especially if you're a long-term investor, because it can, in bear markets, actually give you a little bit of extra money to kind of cushion yourself to buy a little bit more. So you could take that derivative income and then start investing more for the long term into long-term holdings. 15 to 20% of my portfolio would definitely be covered call ETFs that would span, and those ETFs would span large like a large amount of holdings as collateral. And also in each of those ETFs, it would have to be 100%. 100% of the things that were bought would have to be collateral in it. That would be my philosophy, at least with it. That's not financial advice, by the way. That's just the way I would do it. So, and then, but I would say, let's say 15%, I think would be better. You don't want to overly dilute your portfolio. You want to give it some room for income. So I think 15% of it being covered calls, I think, is a little more reasonable. And then, like I said, each of those covered call ETFs have to be preferably 100% of the holdings in it must be the collateral for the covered calls. So that's a big deal to me. Because the rest of my portfolio is going to be buy and hold for the most part. And then so for the rest of the 60K, how would I do that? Because it's tough to allocate. You know what I mean? Because I'm kind of a crazy person in the way that I allocate my shit. So there's really no rhyme or reason. I just usually get into anything that's broadly diversified. Let's see. I would say, and this is where it gets into the weeds a little bit. You know what I mean? But if we're gonna go asset classes, we could divide this into asset classes a little bit. I would say, for the most part, 60% would be stocks, international, and plus US, as long as I'm exposed to every single company in the world. And then 20% would be things like bonds. But here's where it gets tricky. And like I said, this is where it gets really tricky in the weeds. Because you want bonds in your portfolio, right? And it is, by the way, this is US plus international, and preferably just every single bond I can get a hold of through whatever ETF has the bonds, right? So that's a combination of US and international for the 20% of the allocation. So 20, 80, and then 95. Because I'm going to say I might even be a little less generous, and I might even do 10% covered calls. I think 10% covered call ETFs is fair, because you're still getting a pretty good amount of income. And the income from the bonds, whether it's US or international, would be good for the portfolio. So in a sense, 30% of your portfolio is very income driven. Now, and this is all what I would do with the 60K, by the way, if you guys were curious. And then for the 10% remaining for my portfolio, I'm going to, because I don't want to hold on to too much cash, but I do hold on to cash. I'm not going to lie. You still have, it's good to have a cash pile whenever you need it. But 10% would be in commodities of any kind. We're talking about like gold, silver, oil, you name it. Any sort of like material, lithium, uranium, you name it. Any sort of commodities you can get a hold of. Usually the best way to do that is through some form of ETFs. I don't know all the ETFs by heart, but I think they have a list of different commodities ETFs that can be good. I try to avoid any commodities ETFs that have a K1 form. I hate K1 forms with a passion. So any ETF that I invest in that has to send me a K1 form, I just avoid it in general, just because that's not financial advice, by the way. That's just what I do. Talk to a financial advisor, see if that's right for you. But K1s just kind of make taxes a little more overly complicated and annoying. It's just K1s are there to make things more frustrating, to be honest. I really hate. I'm not a fan of the K1 forms. So anytime I get a K1 form in the mail, I immediately just sell that position. I still have to obviously do tax stuff with it for sure, but after that, if I find out it has a K1, I'm like, fuck, it has a K1. Fuck that, dude. I immediately sell the position, and then so I put it on my list of ETFs that have K1s and shit. I avoid that like the plague. So yeah, we definitely want to try to find ones that have. That's my opinion, though. If you're fine with having K1 forms, even though they're fucking annoying during tax season, go for it. But they really are fucking annoying. I think most investors would agree with me on that. Even financial advisors worth their salt would actually probably hopefully agree with me on it. But if not, no big deal. But yeah, that's how if you want to know how I'd allocate 60K, that's how I would allocate 60K. And I would do it on a percentage basis for sure. That's how it was started. I wouldn't maintain it that way though. Eventually I would just let whatever asset class dominate, I don't ever trim my portfolio, I guess you would say. I just kind of plant what I want to plant, and I just let it grow, and then I hold it, and I don't ever sell it. So I really do have a buy and hold forever mentality. I have a lot of indexes, but a lot of the ones that I own, honestly, it's still good to have individual stocks, by the way, just as a heads up. I think it's good to also have a ton of ETFs that expose you to international companies. For example, getting a hold of international companies outside of the US can actually be kind of difficult. So getting an ETF like the VX US, which holds on to everything except the United States, it's an ETF that's really handy to have. The VT is 60% US companies and 40% international. So VT is a good one if you want that international exposure to at the bare minimum. But yeah, overall, I like being exposed to international, to US. I love being exposed to any sort of, I want to have the world when it comes to investments. So spreading out your risk is always smart. I just kind of do what John D. Rockefeller did. John D. Rockefeller was fucking smart as shit, dude. He was all about spread out your risk, take in the dividends, and then just kind of hold everything you got. Hold it all. Don't even sell it. Don't even budge. Now, I will admit, I'm a little bit of a hypocrite on this portfolio because if you think about it, 15% to 20% of my portfolio is swing traded. So, which means it's an active side of my portfolio. The rest of it, 80% is all buy and hold. Now, it's a mixture of stocks and bonds, and I don't even know what the proper allocation for it is at this point. It's just super spread out. Oh my goodness, we got a person on here, and that's our boy Antoine. He's saying Mac for 3. Shit. There we go, dude. See Mac for 3. My man, dude. But yeah, anybody who wants to join on the StreamYard, man, trying to get more people on. So let me paste, I guess, the link here. Let's see. If you want to join in on the stream, you would be the first person. You would be the first person to be live streamed at the park, as far as I know, at least at Mingus Park. So anybody who wants to join, you could type that link in the browser or copy it. The link is actually in the description, by the way. So you could go to the description and possibly copy the link and paste it and then be able to join in. Now, this is the first time I've ever used StreamYard on my mobile phone. So it's a new experience. That is for sure. So kind of testing it. I'm trying to put my phone in the shade a little bit so the sun isn't totally, it's got pretty good heat resistance. I think some people are playing hacky sack down there. It's cool. Hell yeah, get it. But there's the link if anybody wants to join. Antoine, if you want to join in. Yeah, dude, it's a pretty sunny day. Weather looking good for absolutely, dude. This is great weather. This is fantastic weather. Yeah, anytime I can get out in the sun, man, I always enjoy it. I'm in a nice kind of shaded spot though, so it's really cool. So I don't know. Let's see here. All right. So what's a covered call in stock? So basically, and I don't want to get too much in the weeds for what a covered call is, but I'm going to try to make it very simple. So a covered call ETF implements a certain type of strategy where you buy whatever you want to buy, like stocks, for instance. And usually this involves stocks, is how a covered call ETF works. You could do a covered call ETF on other things besides stocks if you technically really wanted to, because there are call contracts and other things. But check this out. So a covered call ETF, well, if I wanted to do what a covered call ETF does, I can actually do it using options contracts. But it involves me actually writing the options contract myself. But here's what you have to do. There's a specific order for this to work. So it uses what's called a buy right strategy. This is kind of a cool strategy here. So what the covered call ETFs do, and you could do this yourself if you really wanted to, but you'd want to talk to a financial advisor because it gets a little advanced. But it isn't as bad as you would think. So what you do is you buy whatever stocks you want to use as collateral. So it's kind of like let's say I wanted to borrow Anthony's basketball, right? But let's say Anthony didn't trust me in this scenario, right? Let's say Anthony was like, I'm a little sketched out by you. So in order for you to borrow that basketball, I'm going to need a little bit of collateral here. So my collateral in this instance would be my backpack, right? So Antoine, because I'm a sketchy guy. So Antoine, in this hypothetical scenario, gives me the basketball. I use my backpack as collateral. Like let's say I fuck up. Like let's say the basketball gets damaged or whatever. Anthony needs some sort of collateral. So if I fuck up and lose the basketball or steal it, he could take my backpack as collateral, right? So that makes it a little bit easier. So in this instance, it's I wouldn't say that my example is fully accurate, but it gives you kind of a generalized idea of how it works. So in a sense, it would be like I buy this backpack, I want to borrow the basketball, and then I use the backpack as collateral. So I use the backpack as collateral just in case, and maybe I'll get my backpack back, you know? And in this instance, if the contract goes as planned in this scenario, I get to keep the basketball too. So it's a win-win. Anthony could lose out on this one. So in this hypothetical scenario, kind of like a covered call works like this. And it doesn't make a lot of sense at first, but it may here in a second. So in this scenario, if we wanted to be a little more accurate with the covered call description, I would buy this backpack first, right? And then Anthony would basically let me use the basketball. I would use this as collateral. But let's say there was a certain set of circumstances that allowed me, if I'm right on this little contract that he and I have, I would get to keep the basketball. I get to keep the backpack, right? In another scenario, he could keep the basketball and the backpack. It depends. So it just really depends on the situation. So, it's not the best analogy in the world, but you could see where I'm coming from with it, hopefully. So really what now just in plain simple English, what a buy right strategy is. So let's say I wanted to do a covered call strategy on Coca-Cola, right? So let's just say we'll keep it simple. I buy 100 shares of Coca-Cola, right? So I buy the 100 shares. Cool. Nice. I got those. And then what I do, so I bought what I needed to buy. So that's the buy part. And now where's the right part come in? Why do we call it a buy right strategy? So I bought the shares, right? Now I have to write the contract. The contract, by the way, is not hard to write because the brokerage does it for you. You just have to you have to create the call contract within your brokerage, whatever you use, whether it's Charles Schwab, whether it's Robinhood, you name it. And what happens is you write a contract that is what's called a call contract. And a call contract has a couple things that you have to keep in mind. Call contract has an expiration date and a strike price. Now, this is where it gets kind of fun. Hey, get off of me, you fucking boy. God damn. So the two key things about a call contract, and this happens also with a put contract too. So a call options contract has an expiration date. And then it has a strike price, right? Those are a couple variables that you need to know of. So typically in a covered call strategy, it usually works like this. Each call contract that is written is traditionally expires 30 days from the time it was written. So that's important to note. So when we're writing this contract, what we do is we set a strike price at the current price. So let's say I bought, and this is my preferred strategy, and this is what most covered call strategies do, by the way. But let's say they bought, I don't know what price Coca-Cola is right now, but let's say we bought Coca-Cola at $60 a share when we bought it, right? And then we write out this contract. The strike price is also good. We're going to make the strike price $60 as well. So $60 will also be the strike price. So we're going to match it up. It's going to match the exact price that we got it for. So $60 for the strike price. And then what about the expiration date? When will this contract expire that we're writing? So this contract will expire 30 days from the time it's written, typically, or at least as close to 30 days as you can make it. So, for example, what's today? Today is the 27th. Okay, cool. And it's April 27th. So we're going to make it, if we can, we're going to make it to where this contract expires May 27th, preferably, right? And that's how it works. And usually these call contracts, they do it on a month by month basis, because the longer the expiration date, the more of a risk it actually is, in my opinion. So I like it when they're short term options contracts that are written out, because the person who typically wins in the end is the person who wrote out the call contract with a shorter expiration date. The person who loses, however, sometimes, depending on the situation, can be the person who wrote it a year out. That they can lose in that scenario. But the person who takes it can also ultimately win. They can also, that contract can expire worthwhile, and then you have to essentially use what you're holding as collateral. That's why they call it collateral now. So what's the whole point? Where does this income come from? You're probably thinking, like, what is the advantage of writing a call contract to begin with? Well, there's something called premium, right? So when you sell a call contract, there is actually a premium price that people are willing to pay to get a hold of that contract, depending on the circumstances, right? So in a sense, you get to set the premium to some degree. Usually it's best to try to set it to whatever the market price currently is in the options market, because you still want people to actually be able to buy it at a fair market price in the options market. So whatever that premium may be, you can kind of think in a weird way of a call option as kind of an insurance policy in this instance. Because remember, you have your shares that you already purchased. So to kind of summarize, what a covered call ETF does, it has a buy right strategy. It buys the shares it needs to buy, and then it writes the contract it needs to write. The contract has an expiration date, usually 30 days out, and then it has a strike price, usually at the price per share that you got the shares at. So I use Coca-Cola as an example. I got Coca-Cola for $60, right? Or maybe I got it for 50. Let's say I got Coca-Cola for $50 a share. What am I going to do when I write? And I got 100 of them. And every contract is usually 100 shares, represents 100 shares. So you want to have enough collateral to back yourself up to and let's explain the call option a little bit further. Let me explain that a little bit further. So let's say I write the call option and I sell it to you, the viewer, right? So you, the viewer, buys the call contract from me. All right. Let's say I bought Coca-Cola at $50, right? Strike price $50, cool. And then I sell the contract at a premium of, like, I don't know. This is a long shot. Let's say a $300 premium to buy in, or probably more than that, but let's just say it's $300 or whatever, right? To buy that contract from me, right? So I'm going to sell that contract to you at a $300 premium. I get to pocket that money instantly, which is really cool. And then you, on the other hand, you get to keep that option contract, and you basically get to execute it at any time if you choose to. Now, here's the catch. If you execute it too early, you may be screwing yourself if you bought it, because you want to wait a little bit. You want to wait because, like, let's say the people who buy this contract usually think the price is going to go up at a rapid pace if it's that low. I'm over explaining this. I'm trying to keep it simple. But yeah, let's say I gave you that contract. You paid me like $350 to gain access to that contract. That gives you the right, basically, to buy it as long as it's at or above the strike price of $60 or $50 in this scenario. If it's at or above $50, you have the right to make the call at any time within that 30 days. You can wait 15 days out. You can wait 10 days out. You can call that option at any time. So if, like, let's say Coca-Cola goes up to like $65 in this scenario, right? And I have a $50 strike price. That sucks for me, because you can then, you as the viewer in this hypothetical scenario who just bought that, could be like, hey, I'm going to execute this option right now before it expires. And then when you execute it before it expires, that's the cool part. So it's a win-win scenario for you, is what I'm trying to say. And well, I wouldn't say it's a win-win. It's more of a win for the people who write the call contracts, because they're keeping the expiration date very short. Now they don't get as much of a premium, but in the long run, though, they still get money. There's still a form of income from that derivative income. So it's a huge deal. That's why I love the covered call strategies. That's why, and I even though I overly explained covered call concepts to you guys, I think hopefully it makes a little more sense. And if you guys really want to visualize, you know how I guess here's another example. So you know how an insurance company will make you pay a premium for your insurance? I'll give you an example. Your car insurance is a good example. You pay I don't know, $600, $700 every 6 months or more, depending on where you live. But you're paying what's called a premium to have access to that insurance. So in a lot of ways, you could think of writing these covered calls as kind of like an insurance policy. But in a weird way, in a lot of ways, it's kind of funny because it's kind of the inverse, because the shares that you purchased are used as collateral. So they're kind of the insurance policy if the contract kind of fails you a little bit. So I personally am a huge fan of covered call strategies. I think they're actually pretty smart. They're a good way of generating extra income for sure, especially since, like I said, the gambler tends to lose in the long run. So the person who writes the contracts is really acting like the casino, in my opinion. And the person who buys the contracts that are so short in expiration are usually the gambler. Me personally, if I'm buying call contracts, I prefer that they have an expiration date of a year or more, so that gives me time to potentially make some money off of it. It just depends, but overall, I mean, I don't really. See, here's the thing: most of the time, I prefer the covered call ETFs do their thing because I'm lazy and I'd rather have the fund to do what they need to do. The process is pretty automatic, and the great part is I don't have to do anything. So the covered call, that's where the covered call ETF comes in. So the ETF that does the covered call shit, they're basically doing all that shit that I just described for you. So you don't actually need to know how to do those processes. It is a good idea to have an understanding of how the base process works, so you're not totally bamboozled. Now, there's a lot of trustworthy ones I personally love, and this is not by the way, this is not financial advice. These are ones that I personally like, and that's it. I do like the Global X covered call ETFs. They do have a bit of a high expense ratio, so that kind of pisses me off. But since it's derivative income, I can kind of look past it and just kind of live with it. Because it saves me time in the long run. So in a sense, the expense ratio is me paying them to do all the heavy lifting for me. And it saves me time, and I could focus on things like doing my YouTube channel and making money off that. So it's a win-win situation. So having the covered call ETFs do what you want is most important. So yeah, that's why I use the covered call ETFs as a way to outsource the strategy itself, instead of me doing it for my. I've actually, it's funny because I've actually done a covered call strategy before, and they're kind of nice. You know, in a weird way, you could technically do covered call strategies on penny stocks, which would be fun if you wanted to do what's called an affordable covered call, because you could then, even though there's not, the premiums are going to be pretty low because most people don't believe in penny stocks, and that's rightfully so. You know, you can't really do like a covered put ETF because put contracts are totally very much the inverse in a lot of ways of a call contract. Because there's still a strike price. The similarities between a put and a call, by the way, there's always going to be that strike price with a put. There's still going to be an expiration date, just like in a call contract with a put. Those are the two main similarities. Overall, it's let's see. We still don't have any guests. This is a shocker. You guys are letting White P Diddy down. Hold on. All right, so I'm back. Sorry about that, folks. Checking my messages real quick. But yeah, overall, this is how I do it, man. This is the way to do it. There's many ways to do it, but I prefer to have at the bare minimum. I try to keep at least like 10% of the portfolio covered call ETFs, just because the income that you can get during a bear market can really come in handy. And like I said, it's a consistent buy right strategy. So every 30 days, basically, they're pretty much buying, writing contracts, and then if they're lucky, if like the market tumbles during that 30-day period and that call contract can't be executed, not only does that covered call ETF get to keep that premium, which is crazy, they get to keep whatever shares they've already purchased. So then they can then buy more shares and then do this and do the process all over again. It's a 30-day cycle. Buy right, boom. And it's surprisingly that simple. And basically options income from writing options is what we like to call, like I said, derivative income. You're taking home the premium, and usually the premium you usually win if it's a short enough of an expiration date. So it's pretty fun. So I love so basically, you're kind of given to the you're selling it to the gambler. But we got heck yeah, we got Antoine saying heck yeah. We got ballin' weather for sure. Absolutely, but this is, like I said, the first time I've ever done StreamYard on my phone. Like I've never done StreamYard outside of the computer. I've only used StreamYard on the computer, so this is a whole brand new experience doing this. And I wanted to be outside so badly, but I also was like, well, let's see if anybody is wanting to be a guest on the show during. Because like I said, this is the first time I've done plenty of live streams out here, but I've never done a group stream where I have, people on, and hopefully the link works in the description. If you guys check it out, I did send a link to Tim, but I think Tim might be busy today. There's a possibility, but that's okay, man. It's okay. But if we can get Tim, I'm always grateful to get Tim on, and he would be the first guest to be a virtual guest on a live show in Mingus Park, to my knowledge. I don't know of too many on YouTube at the very least. So he would be the first. I don't know, be a record, be a Guinness Book of World Records or something. I don't know, some bullshit like that. Be on the this is going to go down into the Coos Bay Museum, the Coos Art Museum. This is going to be the very best show that you've ever watched. But let's see. Motherfucking fly. Flying in my bussy, dude. Make sure you guys like the video, though, by the way. Like it, subscribe to it. And it's Mussy Madness. It's Mussy Madness up in here, dude. Mussy and the Bussy. Tried doing Papa Shot. That failed hard. Did a little bit of that, but so I got my best score was actually 99. I got that twice in a row, but at the same time I did that yesterday. Well, no, sorry, I did that 2 days ago. Yesterday my highest score was like 97, so I was like, oh, weak. I couldn't even break triple digits. That was the worst part about it, but overall, good time. Let's see, and then if we were to go over a couple more things, we got. Yeah, I mean that's just one way to make a little bit of extra dough for the portfolio. Covered call ETFs are great. Like I think, and covered call strategies. I mean, if you know how to implement them, that's great. Good for you. But for most people, they don't know how to implement that at all. So, let's see. What else we want to write about, folks? Let's see. We're going to talk about. But yeah, no, I think it's great to have. And thank you for these hypothetical questions, by the way. Like, what would I do with 65K? What would I do with 100K? It kind of varies. It does. I'll admit it. I do like to have at the bare minimum, though, 10% commodity exposure. That's a big deal to me. One thing I do like is that with my swing trading ones, I do have the S-bit and the biddy. I prefer to have those in my portfolio only because I don't believe in Bitcoin at all. I think it's a pure Bitcoin is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time, and I'm happy to find ways to bet against it. And the SBIT, let's see, SBIT and the Biddy are my favorites. There's also ETH, which is basically a way to bet against Ethereum, which I need to start betting against Ethereum because Ethereum's garbage. It's all garbage. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, you know, crypto itself is probably the biggest grift, the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time. We don't have any guests at the moment. Let's see. I'm trying to keep up with the guests. Oh, wait. We have a guest. Oh, my God. We're going to add him to the stage. We got Tim Smith. Oh, my God. Tim Smith, you just made history. Can you hear me?
Nice. Yeah.
Oh, my God. I can hear you, dude. Oh, my God. I can hear you. Hold on. I want to raise the volume just a little bit. You don't hear any feedback or anything, do you?
No, I just hear Mingus Park. I don't know, it sounds kind of wet. There's birds.
Birds everywhere. Look at that. That's the view right there. That's what we're talking about.
Ooh, full Mingus.
Mingus for my pingus, dude.
I'm gonna look up Mingus Park right now.
Oh, are you gonna look at the Google Map view?
Well, I just want to see like what we're working with here.
By the way, congratulations.
Did you go to So It Goes Coffee House?
I've been there before. I actually did a delivery for them recently. I when I was doing DoorDash, I went down to So It Goes, grabbed an order, and then got it to the person I was delivering to. So, yeah, I've actually been there to drink. Well, now that I think about it, I met my dad and my brother there to drink. I didn't even drink coffee. I just had my Monster Energy drink with me, and I just hung out with them for a little bit while I drank Monster, which I don't know. I guess in coffee world, I guess it's kind of I guess it's rude or something like that. But
you guys got a Dutch Brothers now.
Oh, we've had Dutch Brothers forever.
Nice. And you know what you need to do? You need to get some like still frames, like screenshots from your OnlyFans in the Coos Art Museum.
I mean, it could be considered nude art, you know. I mean, I might be one of the few OnlyFans models that are male in Coos Bay, so
they're open right now, 235 Anderson Avenue.
The Coos Art Museum is?
Yeah.
Oh shit. I could just take nude photos of myself and then just be like, hey, this is a local YouTuber from Coos Bay. This is art. You know, this is a nude male painting. It's just me probably eating chips off my chest, showing my musty and shit, dude.
Yeah, or just open up your DoorDash bag, take some snapshots of what's inside, and it's like a fast food exhibit kind of thing.
Dude, you have no idea how excited I am right now, dude. This is the most exciting. You made history, by the way. As far as I know, you're the first person to be the guest on a live stream at Mingus Park. As far as YouTube Live is concerned, I don't think there's been any.
No, this could be a setup. If you hear me say order the fried pickles, that means Alex Rosen's coming.
No, shit, Alex Rosen's here. Oh, shit. I'm out.
Oh, wait, never mind. He's in Texas today. He just posted a video.
All right. Oh shit. Okay, I'm back.
Woo!
Don't scare me like that. I have the chat logs. Oh man. I had to do a run.
What do you got going on today?
Oh man. I don't think there's much going on, man. Sundays are pretty boring in Coos Bay for the most part. I don't think they have a lot of like big events. Sometimes they do though. Once it gets to the summertime, we got like the Blackberry Festival, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Picking blackberries. That's what I do that here. But it used to just be like poor people, but now they just do meth. Like they don't really go for berries and stuff. But yeah, we have so many blackberries here. And someone was complaining. They're like, "Oh, there's too many blackberry bushes all over the town." It's just like you get free antioxidant rich berries anytime you want. How could there be too many?
Dude, blackberries are awesome. Like I love like whenever the time is right, dude. I love like getting a big old fat bucket, just fucking putting as many as I can in and just fucking eating that shit.
Yeah, it's hard because you don't want to overdo your bucket; they get all smushed. But whatever, you take them home, you do whatever you want with them. I used to do that in college when I had like no money. The place I went to college in before it got built, like neighborhoods, it was orchards and stuff. So there were like pear trees, apple trees. So you just wait till about 2 a.m. You go into someone's like yard and just like pick all their pears or apples and then like take off. And then and then there was blackberry bushes everywhere. But yeah, we used to do that all the time. Tons of apples. My landlord from India taught me how to make chutney out of the apples. They were making like apple chutney. Because we normally use limes and stuff, but she showed me apple chutney. So it was cool. But yeah, even like I don't know where like here there is some blackberries, but not as much where I am now. But I'm sort of in the interior kind of thing. They seem like they're more on the coast. I don't know. I think they were a British thing. They probably came from Europe. So when there was like settlements along the coast, that's where like blackberries ended up.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. Oh man.
I just got back from the gym and then I ate an enormous amount of spaghetti.
Oh, you said you got back from the gym?
Yeah, then I ate a bunch of spaghetti and it's been like it's hockey playoffs, so like the last week and a half, there's just been games morning till night. So I'm watching a little New Jersey, Carolina, and then there's some games later. And the Canadian elections tomorrow. What's gonna happen?
Oh shit, tomorrow? Damn, dude, I might have to do some live coverage tomorrow. I was thinking I might do. Well, what time does the elections start? Like, when do they start really counting all the votes and everything?
Well, Canada's weird because we have this media thing where, like in the U.S., like if New Jersey like has like 3 precincts reporting, they'll just tell you like what it is. Here, because of something, because people will still be voting in the West when the polls close in the East, they can't release it until the polls close in the West. So we might not know anything till like 8 o'clock or something like that. So.
Sorry if I'm getting a little too close to the screen. I don't have my headphones with me. I forgot to bring my Bluetooth headphones, so I'm literally like listening to the speaker. By the way, if you get a lot of wind, sorry about that as well. It's a little windy out here, so if you hear a little microphone garble, that's just high wind. Well, I wouldn't say high winds, but occasional winds right now.
Yeah, crazy. Did you see that story from Vancouver last night, though?
No, what happened?
Well, there's like, well, I guess once a year or whatever. I guess this is the second one this year. It's some big Filipino street festival. So like Filipinos come and it's basically food trucks, music, stuff like that. And then there's like other people there too. But anyway, the thing closes about 8 o'clock. So they start shutting down. And then it turns out another 30-year-old, I think they're Filipino too, who's kind of like mentally challenged. I don't know. He's known to police. And he was out driving erratically. Like they found other footage of him. Anyway, he takes his car and he plows it into the street festival, like drives right in the middle of the road. So yeah, it was a crazy thing. So I don't know, like 8 people are dead, another like 20 people injured. It all happened like late last night. Like I was following it before it was even in the news. It was on Twitter. And
dude, that sucks.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then he gets out of the car, they kind of apprehend him. And now it says 11 killed and like I don't know, probably 20, 30 injured. But there was just bodies everywhere. No one knows what to do. He crashed the car into something. They apprehend him, and then he seemed kind of out of it. But someone saw him earlier in that day. He was just like someone caught him on their dash cam. He almost hit another car. So I don't know whose car this is. Maybe his parents, but apparently he's like 30 years old. So I don't know.
That's fucking wild, man.
Yeah, holy like it was all over like international news. Like in LA or something, there's some festival going on right now. And they're doing like extra security just because of the Vancouver thing. Like they're putting up some extra. Normally the Vancouver one, they're supposed to have like dump trucks, like city dump trucks blocking it. So cars can't come in. And for some reason they didn't do that this time. Nobody knows why. So they just like took off and crashed it. So yeah, it's called it a mass casualty event. Then there's another crazy thing in Vancouver. Some woman, she's walking through like downtown, the Stanley Park. That's her big famous park. Anyway, some random stranger just runs out. She's kind of walking at night, like it might have been like 9 or 10. It's starting to get dark. And some stranger pops out and just starts beating on her. And I guess he beat her up really bad, but she kind of got away. So they apprehended this guy. And apparently he was already like been released for another crime. Like he had been doing this already. Anyway, he's been released again. But this woman, like she posted a thing on TikTok about the beating and all this stuff. And then next day she's like, yeah, because they're asking her, oh, did you vote because it's the election? She's like, yeah, I still voted liberal. You might think I wouldn't. Like the whole thing that conservatives are talking about this election is like catch and release things for criminals. Like you catch them for some crime, they get released again, catch them. So anyway, this guy gets released and she still said something like, well, they still align with my values. It's like, it was insane. I might create a TikTok just to respond.
Wait, hold on. So they catched and released. Wait, hold on. I kind of lost track a little bit. So who did they catch and release again? What did they do?
Some guy who just randomly beat up a woman in the park and who was already out on bail for another beating.
Oh my God.
But that's in Canada. People just get catch and released 50 times. And the weird thing about this guy is he's on the board of some sort of nonprofit charity thing, which is very confusing. I went to their website. It's all it's people from Africa who are doing something where they spend time with seniors and handicapped people or something. I don't exactly know what it is they do, but there's African people with some random handicapped people. But then other stuff they showed was just it'll be two white seniors just playing tennis with each other. So I don't know what it has to do with them. So I can't figure out what this nonprofit is. It seems like some kind of scam. I think they're just beating around seniors to steal their credit cards. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, this guy was a big old scam. Yeah, they removed his picture from the website, but it's still on there. And I found him. But anyway, this woman's like, yeah, that's what happened. That woman from Egypt, from South Africa, who was that journalist? So she's Fox News now or something. Woman journalist, Lara Logan, because she was reporting on the Arab Spring protests, and then she got raped and beat up in the protest, and then she became a conservative after that or something. But anyway, not this woman in Vancouver. She was from Toronto. She was visiting here for work or something like that. She decides to take a walk in the park, is beat up, and she's like, I don't know, they still, but her bad, her face is all messed up. So I don't know. Anyway, that's what's been going on in Vancouver. Those two things.
Damn, man. Freaking wild.
And then the conservative leader was here. All the leaders were here, campaigning. So that was going on, the rally. Oh, and then I had an incident too. I'm I'm walking to get groceries yesterday. And right on the corner on one of those traffic lights, the NDP, there's in Canada, there's the Conservative Party, Liberal Party, Green Party. Then there's the NDP, which is a more liberal party. They're a socialist party. They call it stands for New Democratic Party. Anyway, they're polling at 0% in my riding, but whatever. They're on a traffic island. There's 10 of them. Two of them were transgender, and then there was a bunch of other people. And they had their little signs everywhere. And then they were holding up and they're waving at cars and stuff. I'm like, oh my God, I got them. So I go over there and I immediately start demanding money because their whole thing is redistribution of wealth, universal basic income. So I showed them my grocery bag. I'm like, yeah, I can't afford groceries, inflation. You guys have anything? One guy pulls out his wallet. I see bills and stuff, but he doesn't want to give me the bills. And so he reaches in his pocket, gives me $1, one of those $1 coins. So I got $1. And then I start asking everyone else, oh, we don't really have it. I'm like, I'm in the 99%. I'm not in the 1%. I'm like, redistribution of wealth, UBI. I told them, I got to get up at 6 a.m. sometimes for work. What kind of life is that? I want some UBI so I can have a good time in life. And then, I'm looking at them. One lady had really expensive sunglasses. I'm like, how much did those cost? You can't fork over a little for my groceries. So I'm there for a bit, and then they didn't want to give me stuff. So I told cars were pulling up because they're light. I'm like, they gave me $1. That's all they gave me. What kind of socialists only give me $1? And then they all split up and left because I wasn't leaving. I think they wanted me to leave, and I wouldn't. Then I started, I don't know, I told the leader to get out of my way when I was trying to press the button to cross the street. And then she left. Anyway, then they all got in their cars and took off. I don't know where they went. They might have gone to somewhere else. But it was funny though. I'm like, this is my big chance. Free money. The socialists are here. And all I got was $1. But I used it in the gym today. The gym's only $2 on Sundays. So that paid for half my gym. But, yeah.
Man, dude, that's actually... Your way of going about it was actually pretty clever because it's if you guys really do love the whole redistribution of wealth concept, then it's all right, well, distribute some to me. Let's.
Right here. I'm right here. The money is, my hands are right here. This is where the wealth needs to go. I'm literally going to get groceries.
You
And
could have asked him, like, how much do you make a year? Be like, oh, well, I make this amount per year and you make this amount per year. So you need to give me like $100 or something, or $50 or $20 or something.
Yeah, I should have pulled up the calculator on my phone and started adding up some numbers.
Be like, you're too rich. You make more money than me. So we need to be at the same level. That's not equal. You needed to find.
Yeah, they all took off, but I could have stayed longer. I could have, maybe made it happen. But
Next time, if I see the socialists at the boardwalk picketing against like Trump or whatever, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna definitely try to make like a little cardboard sign that says, redistribution of wealth or something like that. But I'm gonna like pretend to be socialist, and then I'm just gonna walk around and be like, hey, how much money do you make a year? I'm just gonna ask that each person and be like, well, I make this amount of money per year, so you got to give me money to make it to where everything's even.
Yeah, I should have told them, Bernie Sanders has a private jet. Where's my private jet?
Yeah.
Like, give me $20.
Yeah, where's my fucking helicopter?
No, that's the proper way to deal with socialists. Is just immediately start demanding cash. That's what I do.
Hey, look at me. I actually, this vest is, I've seen Jeff Bezos wear a vest like this. I kind of have Jeff Bezos vibes right now. But I'm gonna be just like Jeff Bezos right now. By the way, Tim, you said you came back from the gym. Can you, if you feel like it, will you let the people know, including myself, what is your typical routine at the gym, your workout routine? What do you tend to do?
Yeah, I start off, I hit the chest press.
Yep.
Like this, and then I pyramid everything I do. So let's say chest press, I do 3 sets of 10 at like 130 pounds. This is a weird chest press though. It's like got like wires and stuff to make it like harder. And then it's not like a standard bar. So I go a little lower. I used to do like higher on their old one. But anyway, so I do 3 sets of 10. The 10th set, or the third set, you do as many as you can. And then when you can't do it anymore, you move it down once. So you go like 130 to 120. And you do it. So I pyramid down to like the bottom.
Oh, you start at kind of like the highest you can do. Yeah. And then just kind of trickle down as you get more. That's actually kind of smart.
Yeah, because you avoid injuries by like doing too much weight as you get more tired, and also you work like different tendons and stuff that you might not otherwise. So just like you go down. So I do chest press, and then I do like curls. Same thing, 3 sets of 10. I pyramid my way down.
You said curls and then pyramid way down. Okay, I'm noting that down real quick.
I do with the dumbbells. I do curls, and I also do shrugs with the same dumbbells. So I'll do like 20 shoulder shrugs for your traps like this. And then when those are done, then I'll do the curls. So then I've done that. Then I go to then I'll do the ones for like the what is it behind the arm again? Like right here.
Oh, let's see. There's bicep, there's tricep.
Tricep, yeah.
Tricep,
I do the tricep pulls down. I hook it up to the machine.
You said you do the pull. This is the pull down one?
Yeah, with the rope. I do the rope.
Oh, okay, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, pulled. And how many of those do you do?
Same thing, like 3 sets of 10 at whatever my highest weight is. Like I think I'm almost up to 60 pounds on that. At
the highest you could do. I'm liking this because here's the thing, man. I have a Planet Fitness down here, and I was thinking I might go to the gym. I have to check out their membership cost though. But I thought about it, and I was like, wouldn't it be interesting if I started going to the gym using the Tim Smith workout routine and just see what the results end up being? I just do live video of me actually doing the routine.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly it. Do that.
That'd be fun.
Do some workout. A lot of people, you don't really see a lot of workout videos anymore. It's more like influencers now, like more plates, more dates, people like that. Liver King. You can be like the Liver King of Tuesday.
The fucking Liver King. I forgot about that guy completely. Oh my God. Didn't he turn out to be a total fraud or something like that?
Yeah, he said, sorry about that. I said I wasn't using steroids, but I was. So.
What a savage, though.
Yeah, so then after then I go to that thing like this, the other chest thing.
Oh,
pull it like this.
Yeah, where you're just gonna go. It's like almost like the Bowflex commercials. Like the guy in the Bowflex commercials is like doing like the.
Yeah, I hit one of those, and then I go to if I feel like it, I'll do the shoulder press. I'll go to the shoulder press machine to finish it off. Because all of these exercises pretty much use your shoulders. So you're getting like a shoulder workout. So I'll save the actual shoulder press for the end. So it's just whatever is left in your shoulders, do that. And then the final thing I go to this thing. It's like a combination, like leg bike and hand bike. So you're moving your arms and legs. So I crank it up to like 6 on the difficulty or the whatever. And I do that anywhere from 15 to 25 minutes, depending if I feel what I feel like. So then that's what I do. Then I walk home. That's another like maybe 30-minute walk uphill. So I get a bonus walk there. So that's pretty much what I do.
Hell yeah, dude. That's actually a pretty varied workout routine. I like it.
Thing is, I work my lower body so much anyway because I'm always walking, and then I just do squats at home. So I don't waste a lot of time doing lower body in the gym. Like I can do squats with weights and stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, I don't know, I'll just do regular squats. I already have a weird shape and body from playing hockey for a lot of years because especially goalie, you're like crouched and everything. So your thigh, you have a lot of thigh muscle. So my legs are already kind of like thicker than they might normally be. Just
so you said you played a lot of hockey. Did you play a lot of goalie or anything? Or is that what you said?
Yeah, goalie. It's like back catcher in baseball. You're crouched. So like your thigh.
Oh yeah. Yeah. How do you do that for a whole fucking game? Screw that.
Yeah, the lactic acid builds up, as they call it. So I'm like, my legs are like thick enough. Like I don't really need.
Well, dude, you probably got crazy legs, man. You probably got crazy ass legs from doing all that hockey.
Yeah, not quite as much as they used to be, but they're still like thicker than like normal.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like that's what I do. I mostly stick to upper body, and then that's I don't do a lot of like jogging on the treadmill and stuff like that because I'm like I can just jog in the neighborhood. I don't want to waste my gym time on that. And then also those are the ones, those other like gazelle type things with the hands and the legs like this. I don't like those because you're kind of bobbing up and down, and I get like seasick or something from it. I get like nauseous, so I don't do those. I just stick with the one where you're sitting and you're going like that. But it used to just be a hand bike. Didn't even have a leg one that was separate, but then they took that away, and then they brought in this new one that's kind of both. So whatever. But yeah,
I wouldn't mind having a hand bike. That'd be sick.
Because in UFC they're always using that. Like at the end of their workout, whatever they got left in the arms, they go to like the hand bike for like the last little bits. That's what I do at the very end.
Not a bad idea. Probably get the arms kind of loosened a little bit. Probably get a little more muscle gain. Because here's the thing, man. The only workout routine I do these days is just I walk around places when I have a little bit of free time, and then for the most part, when I do DoorDash delivery, it kind of helps. But that's just still I'm working out my legs only. So the only real workout I do is through the pull-up bar. And then I'm going to take your approach with my pull-up bar, and I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. It's going to be interesting. Because I can hang on the bar for about almost 30 seconds. Usually 25 seconds normally. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take your approach. I'm going to work my way down. So I'm going to do 20 seconds and then, see whatever. If I can do any pull-ups, great. If I can't, I'm just going to hang on the bar. And then I'm going to give myself about a minute to rest. Then I'm going to go 19 seconds, then rest again, then 18, going down. I want to use that going down approach. I don't know why I didn't think to do that. Like that's actually
a lot of bodybuilders and stuff do that. It builds up like endurance, but also like if you just stop at like 3 sets of 10, like you could if you start going down and then you start to use like extra like little tendons and muscles that you otherwise wouldn't and stuff like that because like the major ones now you're having to work like more and you just keep going till you can't go anymore. That also builds up like endurance and stuff. So.
Yeah, dude. Holy shit, man! That's brilliant, man. I'm loving it.
Yeah, I try and just go. I try to go once or twice a week, but I don't know. I've been tired lately, so I haven't gone actually. In maybe like a couple of weeks. I took some time last weekend. I drank rum all weekend, so I was just getting drunk like all weekend and eating pancakes. And then I made pina colada pancakes, and the batter I put the pineapple rum and I put shredded coconut, and then you take like cream cheese, cream cheese and like pudding. Just like cheap pudding you buy from the store, like lemon or something, and you mix those together, and then you put that cream on top of the pancakes. That's what I was doing, but then
So are you talking about like the powdered pudding, or are you just talking about like
whatever you want? You can buy store pudding, you can make your own pudding, but you mix that with like say whatever flavor you do, caramel, whatever. Okay. You mix that with like the same amount of cream cheese. Now you're making stuffed pancakes. There's, there's like a,
So cream cheese, shredded coconut, and fucking pudding. That's wild.
Well, cream cheese and then pudding is the sauce. You put that like in the middle of the pancakes.
Oh
but
my!
Then in the batter, I put pineapple, rum, and shredded coconut. So they're pina colada pancake.
That's fucking wild. I don't know how I feel about the shredded coconut side of it because I like coconut water, but I hate the texture of actual coconut. But
get a coconut extract or something, or get a coconut. Get a coconut flavored rum. Put that in, and then do pineapple pieces instead of the shredded coconut.
Ooh, smart man. Do you give me? That's why I'm glad I brought my notebook out because these notes. I love taking notes during these because I feel like I learn a lot from you, man. I love. Honestly, I love hearing your insights on shit, dude. It gets me going.
Hey, Georgie, Financialism just had some insights. I'm just looking at his Twitter. He's saying he's basically talking about buying stocks instead of buying a house, and he goes,
yep.
In 1980, 100,000 into a house would be 2 million today, but 100,000 into stocks would be 10 million today.
Yep, because stocks are productive assets. You know, a house can appreciate obviously, but in value, but at the same time, it's like to what degree there is a limit to how quickly houses can appreciate over a certain amount of time. And that's why I say productive assets like stocks are brilliant. Like you can get into like hell, the S&P 500, for example, and just you could put $100,000 in that, watch that appreciate over time because all of those are the best companies that you can get a hold of. And then versus like putting $100,000 into a house. I actually did the calculations. I even had ChatGPT do the calculations too, just in case to make sure I was right on it. And man, especially with dividends reinvested as well as another factor to put into it. So you get a lot that 10, you said, what was it? $2 million for the house after a certain amount of time. And then it was like 10 million for the S&P 500 or something after that.
Exactly. And then he also says, convincing you that stocks are not tangible has been Wall Street propaganda forever. They want you to panic that your hard-earned money will go to zero. This is usually when they buy your stocks from you.
Yep. Exactly. And I'm doing exactly what the Wall Street guys are doing. Anytime there's a major sell-off, I'm buying as much as I can get my grubby freaking dirty hands on. And I'm going to I basically do what Wall Street tells me. So whatever Wall Street tells me to do, I do the exact opposite, basically.
Well, they're talking about the collapse of the NASDAQ. Now it's back up to higher than it was before.
Yep. And that's why I'm glad I've been buying all the indices, man. I've been buying as many indices as I can and just fucking holding them. Now, however, I am swing trading. Basically, I'm swing trading the S&P 500 right now, but man, the volatility right now is beautiful. It's a way to make some quick, little, easy money.
Yeah, I mean, my stocks are good. My thing's back up, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But Georgie was just dropping some knowledge. I don't know.
I was trying to figure out what allocation I wanted for covered call ETFs because I think covered call ETFs only take up currently only about like 3% to 4% of my portfolio. I haven't done a real hard count on it, but if I were to just estimate, I'd say only 3 to 4% of my portfolio is strictly covered calls because the covered call ETFs that I have are actually 100% cover, like 100% collateral covered calls. I know the ETF that you have, the Harvest one, I know they do a 30-70%, but the reason I have 100% covered call ETFs is so that way part of my portfolio can be strictly just covered call ETFs specifically. So like my goal is to try to make 10% at the bare minimum. 10% of my portfolio needs to be covered calls, I think. And I'm going to try to get it to that point. So that way I've got some pretty good income during tough times. And because you never know, times may be tough and cover call ETFs really come in handy.
Yeah, I went in deep on them, so we'll see. I don't know. You know, a lot of these things are kind of new. My main one's only been around 3 months, so I don't know. You got to watch it every day.
Yeah.
It's like maybe in 5 years you don't have to, but maybe I'll have like moved on to something else after that. I don't know. We'll see. With new stuff. I don't know. We'll see what happens with Canada. We don't know there could be like after the election, maybe the country breaks apart. Some of the provinces might join the U.S. We don't know what's going on, so we'll see. But the polls are crazy, and also Polymarket, like in the U.S. election, everyone was like, "Well, Polymarket had the real like numbers and everything on who was going to win," but our Polymarket's been like compromised every time. Like the conservative candidate was down to like, I don't know, 18% chance or something like that after being like 99% chance of winning.
Yeah.
And then every time now, like when he goes up in the polls, Polymarket, he goes down. So I think what it is like people say it's the Chinese government. Because when you think about it, for them, putting like 3 million into the Polymarket to manipulate it is nothing. So, and you can bet anywhere outside of the United States. So they would just buy some crypto. You can't even trace it to them. You're buying crypto because it's all done through crypto. So people think it could just be the other parties, which also they could just throw like the guy running for the Liberal Party, Mark Carney, he's like an international banker. Like he's got billions of dollars stashed in like offshore accounts all over the world. He could just be manipulating it. They actually sent one of our reporters to track down the head of one of his shell companies, and it's in the Isle of Man, which is between Ireland and England, which apparently is where a lot of people hide money, because technically it's not part of either country, and technically it's owned by like the British royal family or something. But the people who live there, what they do is companies will go there, or like funds and stuff, and they'll make some random person who has a house there, like on paper, the head of the company, and say they own like more than 25% of the shares. Like in this case, it was some 88-year-old guy who was like the landlord of like some apartment building there, who people have said, yeah, we've seen him around town, but he's not home right now. But some random 88-year-old is like the head of the company. And then basically the money gets sent there, and then they'll pay this 88-year-old some money to like whatever for just to hold and then they don't have to pay taxes on it or whatever. It's just, but anyway, that's what this guy is. So he could be manipulating the Polymarket too. So we don't know.
Damn, man, it's intense.
Yeah, so no one even knows what the real numbers are. Like on the ground, the conservative candidate's having record-breaking rallies. There's people been camping out since last night to get into his final rally tonight. And the Liberal Party candidate, he hired a bunch of actors to stand behind him at some like steel plant or something and put on fake helmets. So like he doesn't really have the public support. So no one knows what's going on.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens, man. Because if Canada goes conservative, like it's proof that
Canada was conservative for like up until 10 years ago. It was conservative for like 10 years, the 10 years before that, before Justin Trudeau came along. But
well, I think we're going to see, because there's been major shifts in a lot of governments around the world. Because I think a lot of people are getting sick of, like I said, like I've been saying, left-wing politics. People don't like it anymore. I know I got tired of it for sure. I just don't like. I don't like what the left has become. I think they become a bunch of authoritarians, and that's just how I feel. There's a lot of people I wouldn't say there's a lot of people who disagree with me. There are some people who disagree with me in my life on that, and I totally understand where they're coming from, but I don't know. I just don't see the left the way, because I live on the left coast, basically. Coos Bay, Oregon, I swear it's so split. It's like, ugh. But yeah, definitely the left coast for sure is where I live.
Yeah, it's just, that's what I found out certain things like California, same thing, but there's a lot of Canadians there. Like Palm Springs, California, where they pay transgenders universal basic income. Apparently it's like half the town's like Canadians who live down there. So it's like there's all these ridiculous Canadians who move down. That's what it was like at Christmas at my dad's house. It's like, why is everyone so nuts? So wait a minute, half these people are from Canada. That's the problem. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I almost went. Actually, I might go to Seattle next month. There's a band I wanted to see.
Oh.
And they're called Beach Bunny. They're like a fun indie band.
Beach Bunny?
They're doing a show at the Showbox. It's like a small club there. So I might go see them. I might rent a car and drive down. We'll see what happens. But I asked like some of my coworkers, and one of them's like, "Oh, I'm not going to the U.S. right now. I think they're talking about tariffs and stuff." And I'm just and I showed them that woman getting beaten in Stanley Park. It's like, I'm gonna go to Seattle where it's safer. But you guys have a good time up here. So I don't know.
Oh man, Seattle seems like it might be a little bit of a crazy place still. Well, I don't know. Seattle may not be as bad as like San Francisco, though. I'm trying to think what would be like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I know Oakland's rough. There's a lot of problems in Oakland.
Yeah.
Oakland, like
yeah.
all the sports teams left. It's like Oakland A's gone to Las Vegas. Oakland Raiders gone to Las Vegas. Who do they have left? There is no.
Well,
they got a WNBA or what do they got?
Well, so they did have
Warriors used to be there, and they're in like San Jose or something. Bro.
Yeah, they decided to go. They went to San Francisco basically.
Yeah.
The Warriors went right to San Fran, which honestly, I don't think that's any better. San Francisco's just as bad. San Francisco's turned into like total cesspool. It's pretty bad there. So I don't know. At least that's last time I checked. I think they're. Oh wait, maybe. I can't remember where the Golden State Warriors got relocated. I could have swore it was San Fran, but I actually might be wrong on that.
I think it is, but like that's all the same area, like San Jose, San Francisco,
yeah,
kind of thing. But yeah, it just comes down to like Vancouver, like is crazy. It just comes down to like your neighborhood, basically. Like if you like you can live in California if you're in a rich neighborhood. Like you can live in Mexico if you're in a rich neighborhood. You can live in any of these countries if you're in like a wealthy neighborhood with like fences and like and like guards everywhere. Yeah. So like I'm sure Portland, like if you live outside of Portland, like in Portland's rough because remember all those squatters? There was people moving into houses and not leaving, and then the owner would be like, "Hey, this guy won't leave. He's squatting in my house, and I can't sell it till he leaves." And they'd be like, "Well, too bad. That's our laws." So I remember that one guy in Portland sold his house for $1. Basically telling whoever bought it, yeah, but it's got squatters and there's no way to get them out. I remember that guy.
That's the thing that scares me about owning a home is like how ridiculous will the laws get here in Oregon? You know what I mean? Like, will they be because they're too kind to squatters already here in Oregon. They're just as bad as California, in my opinion, with the whole squatter laws. And I don't know, man. It just seems like more of a risk to own real estate, in my opinion. That's one of the reasons why I own real estate investment trusts, because it's like I don't have to deal with any of that shit. Thank goodness. But I don't know.
Yeah, like remember those towns in Ohio where 1 minute you're in a town. Like this is happening in Ireland right now. People are like now marching against it. But 1 minute your town's got 500 people. The next minute they've moved in like 1,000 people from like a foreign country. Yes. And now your real estate value plummets.
Yeah.
That's what I like about stocks. Is it's like all you've got to worry about is I don't know, company factories, and if something goes haywire, they'll just move the Coca-Cola factory to somewhere else. Who cares?
Yeah, and if a company's big enough, that's the beauty. That's why I love stocks so much. Is if a company's big enough, like a little bit of a malfunction within the company isn't going to kill the whole thing. Because that's why I don't invest in small businesses. Is because as much as I love small businesses, like I think they're great, I don't feel like putting my money as an investment into an actual small business like penny stocks. I'm afraid of those. I stay away from those for the most part. Like. Now, let's say if I was like super duper wealthy, let's say I had millions of bucks, sure, I wouldn't mind like maybe putting 10K or 20K, 20,000 down for some stake in a company I really think might go somewhere. Because then the rewards can be really good if it does go somewhere. But at the same time, it's like, since I'm just a regular investor with a limited amount of capital, I have to play safe. I have to play safe in order to get somewhere in growth.
No, I had another coworker come up to me and send me another penny stock he bought. This is the guy who bought some like random holistic health thing during COVID, thinking it was going to take off, and it went from like $10 to 50 cents or something.
Oh, jeez.
Now he's got some other one. It's like the company is called like Military Metals Corp or something, and it's some company that owns a mine of some element. It's called like antimony or something like that, and it's used in a lot of military stuff like goggles and I don't know, bullets, and I don't know what it's used in. Like walkie-talkies. And anyway, I think it's like 50 cents a share. But I think like it was like at one point, like a couple years ago, it was like 8 cents a share. So it has gone up a bit. But
that's not bad at all, actually. That's actually kind of good growth from 8 cents a share to 50.
But it was higher before that though. Like it started out like higher than that. So I don't know. So I have no idea, but that's what he's trying to do. Like these people are just buying lottery tickets. Like, what if because they're going and they're reading about stocks. And like when I was into penny stocks when I first started, there's all kinds of fake stuff on them. Like
Yeah.
there's this one that was the stock was about augmented reality. So let's say you're at like a basketball game and you've got your phone out,
Yeah.
and you can put your camera on your phone using this app, and it would like you watch the game and it would show like player stats while it's going on, like it would augment your reality kind of thing. Or there'd be stuff to link to the scoreboard and like all kinds of stuff like that. But it's not necessarily a bad idea. But it's just that these people made it sound like this thing's about to explode and like every league's going to be using it. But then I noticed, wait a minute, it's the same two guys on this same talk show. Wait a minute, this is a fake talk show, and they just put out a new episode every week, and they pretend like, oh, we decided to have this guy back on. No, the guy that the app maker is paying for the fake talk show, and then every week it would be like the same thing. Wait a minute, this is a scam. This thing's not going anywhere.
I love penny stocks for the pure fact that a lot of them are so speculative, and you kind of see some tall tale signs that it's bullshit, because it's like their website is a tall tale sign the company's kind of garbage. Just always look at their website, man. Look at, if it's all about just the stock itself and not about what the product is, then it's clearly they just want investors to be able to pump. It's usually just pump and dump bullshit half the time with most penny stocks, which is one of the reasons why I don't believe in them at all.
That's right. And the penny stock, I got this industrial thing in Texas. It's like they started out right off the bat with like a big dividend. Like I guess to maybe get people in, and then then they lowered it, and then they eliminated the dividend entirely. And then they've tried to, now they've got like alternate funding to get things off the ground. They've merged some of the companies they have, and they've gone to a bank, and they've done this. They've issued this, they've issued that. But at least they're going forward a little. Like they got picked up by an industrial REIT. Some REIT that owns like other industrial stock picked them up. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. But now every day we just wait on this thing. When are they going to announce the dividends back? And because right now you can't even share it. You can't even really sell it. There's not enough buyers. If I tried to sell it, it'd be for way less than I paid for it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in the next few years with this. They are building the facilities they said they were going to build. They did get picked up by a REIT. Their plan is to still have these all over the southern U.S. Sun Belt. Right now, again, they're just in Texas. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Like I like the idea of it, which is like, yeah, there's a lot of these light industrial facilities already, but they're very old and they're broken down. The electrical's not good. And ours are like super ones. They've got kitchens and like internet rooms and boardrooms and stuff. So we'll see. But that's my one penny stock. That's the one I bought because I went through all of them in Canada, like every kind of new penny stock. And that was the only one that stood out. One, because they were already offering a dividend. And two, because they're the only REIT I've ever saw in there. It was like this one. It was the only REIT I've ever seen on there. So I don't know. So anyway, we'll see what happens. That's what I'm hanging on to. I've got about $2,000 worth of it. So, I'm hoping maybe it'll go up to 10 sometime. Maybe I might sell it and I'll put it in my other thing, but I don't know. We'll see.
Smart man, dude. Smart man. I was going to say, man, see, this is why I'm so paranoid about being diversified, man. I have REITs and stuff like that, but I've got I just have a share of like a ton of different ones. Like I still do my due diligence and shit like that, but at the same time, I'm just like, dude, at least if a few of them go down, I still got a plethora of others to back my ass up, Yeah. See, that's the scary thing. I don't like putting I really am afraid of putting my eggs in one basket, or at least a few baskets. I want to have my eggs in as many baskets as I can muster, man, because I'm a big proponent of diversification, man. But I think that by the way, your Harvest ETF that you're in, could you remind me how many companies were in that one?
14.
They're at least smart.
It's basically the top NASDAQ stocks or the most volatile ones. And plus there's like Eli Lilly, which I think isn't on the NASDAQ. But
at least you have companies that are good in there. I still am not a big fan of micro strategies though. But hey, you know what? I guess it's exposure to Bitcoin in some degree. So
raise their dividend next month. They were going along at 60 cents a share, and now it's 66 cents. So they've actually raised it.
That's funny.
The thing is my problem with the diversity thing is, like this week everything was up, But that's what I mean. Everything was up. My thing was up, but so was all the other ETFs I sold to buy this one. And then when mine's down, they're down too. So everything just kind of goes up and down at the same time. It's rare that it doesn't.
Yeah.
So I don't really think so. If you just concentrate it all into one, you're going to get the benefit of the compounding faster.
Yeah.
Like ideally is to get enough dividends from this that then I will start spreading out again. But for now, I don't want to wait anymore. We're going hard on this now.
Yeah.
And it's like, like unless, I don't know, half these companies collapse, I don't know what would happen. But so what? You'd still have 7 left. And that's what this thing started with. It started with 7 and the dividend was still 25 cents. So I don't know. So if the whole market tanks, and so does mine, but so does anything I own. So
yeah, well, that's why I'm starting to be a little more into. I'm getting back into covered calls again. The cover you inspired me with this ETF to get back into covered calls, at least to have that covered call exposure. Because while I am hyper diversified, I will admit I'm not getting a ton of income from the hyper diversification that I have in my portfolio. So I figure if I get like covered calls like the XYLD, which is basically covered call options on the S&P 500, covered call on all sorts of shit, I can at least still remain diversified while having a pretty good amount of income coming in from the derivative income from all the different covered call ETFs that I would have. So I can still be diversified while also being diversified on another front. So while also getting, some form of income from call options and shit through those ETFs.
There's a new one out, monthly S&P 500 covered call ETF, 14% yield. It's
what's that one called?
TSPY.
TSPY. That's cool. Hold on, let me look that down.
Yeah, the company is called Tap Alpha or something.
Is that Canadian only or?
No, it's on the New York NYSE.
Oh, okay, NYSE. All right. So TSPY.
Yeah.
I can't look at anything on the screen at the moment, so I'm writing it down so I could research it later. Let's see. And for y'all to forgive me, it's getting even more windy out here, so I had to I'm kind of in my coat, in my little vest, and I have my backpack in front of me blocking the wind. My nips are getting cold out here, so I'm but there's still sun shining a little bit. But let's see, TSP. So I kind of have something similar to that. It's the it's the XYLD is what I have is similar to that, but.
Well, do you know the SPY, like the regular SPY?
Oh, SPY, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good ETF.
But that's what this 500. This is what TSPY is. They hold the SPY, but they do leverage covered calls on the SPY.
Smart. I like that. That's kind of cool. I'll have to, so if I'm right on this, do they use all of the holdings in the ETF? So for example, you know how some ETFs will, if they have covered calls involved, it'll only be on 30% of the holdings or maybe 50% of the holdings. Is it 100% of the holdings on there for the covered call, or is it just a smaller amount?
I can't tell. I'm just looking at it right now. Yes.
I will definitely have to give it a look-see later because even because on my phone I can't really do split screens and stuff.
Well, I will say this. They do daily covered calls. So they're daily. That's how they generate a high income, but they pay out monthly.
So the premiums that they get on that, though, are probably interesting because if you create a call option contract and it expires in a day, I mean, the premium that you get on that's pretty small for the most part. But at the same time, that's actually kind of smart because you're generating a new call contract every day with a certain premium amount. And that call contract may expire worthless, most likely, in that one single day. And if it expires worthless, or even if it expires worthwhile, the premium, you should still profit from the premium that you get from that. It's actually kind of a smart strategy. I like that. That's a very smart.
I'm just trying to figure out.
TSPY, though, that actually is one I should add. I don't think I actually have that one in my portfolio, so I should absolutely add it to my.
I don't know what percentage of covered call they write, though. I'm just trying to figure that out, but
it's all good. I could always look it up a little bit later. But even if it's even if they use 100% of the holdings, that's okay by me because, like I said, I want I want covered call ETFs that do 100% of the holdings anyway, because it's going to be 10% of my portfolio are those covered call ETFs, and then the rest, well, maybe even up to 20, because high income's a good thing. So I don't know. I'll have to sleep on it a little bit, or at least think about it and do some calculations. But I like it. I like it.
Yeah, go to write down the internet channel, the one I go to. There's this guy named Adrian from Canada. It's called Passive Income Investing. He just did an interview with the manager of TSPY, like I don't know, like a day or so ago.
And what's this guy's name again?
His name's Adrian, but the channel's called Passive Income Investing.
Oh, okay. Passive Income Investing.
Yeah, because he's got a Canadian account and a US account. And
awesome! That's awesome.
Yeah, I get a lot of tips from that guy. But yeah, look up he just did an interview with the guy who runs TSPY. So yeah, it's a synthetic version of SPY. So I think yeah. So
I think it's interesting. I think it's an interesting concept. So it sounds like you said synthetic, like covered calls. So
yeah.
Synthetic covered calls are interesting because you're technically in a synthetic covered call. You're not actually using anything as collateral in those. That's why they call it synthetic. So you're using, right. I can't remember how synthetic works precisely, because it's like those yield max. There's these ones called yield max ETFs, and they do the same thing, synthetic covered calls, where they create the call options, but it eludes me how the synthetic ones work. Oh, wait. I think I remember how it works. It's a little iffy. My memory's a little iffy, but if I remember right, they purchase a certain amount of call options and a certain amount of put options in between, and then they write a call option. Okay, that's how they do it. Okay, I remember now. I remember. So if I remember right, how a synthetic covered call works versus a regular one, the synthetic one works like this. They buy call options and they buy put options, typically in equal distance of each other as far as strike prices go. And then, and I might be misdescribing this a little bit, but then they write a call option as a differentiator. So what happens is, and I think I might be wrong on this, but I think the idea is very similar, where they're really looking for synthetic cover calls are so fucking weird. All I know is that they don't actually own the stock, but they own call and put options to kind of make it all work. It's tricky.
Yeah, maybe that's what this guy's doing. I haven't watched the full video, but see what he's got going.
It's been a while since I've looked up cover calls, though, or at least synthetic cover calls. It's been a while.
Yeah, check their website too. It's got lots of information. So. But anyway, that's the one he was talking about this week. I'm like, oh, that looks good. It's up to like about 14% yield right now for like monthly payments. So.
Damn. Crazy. So what do you have to say to the people of Mingus Park? If there's anybody listening right now in the park, which I doubt, but I'm in a secluded spot at the moment, fairly secluded.
Mingus, don't go to Dutch Brothers if you're planning on being on Caleb Hammer's show, because he'll see that on your account statement on your credit card and he'll go crazy. He'll start screaming.
So don't go to Dutch Brothers if you're bad with money.
Yeah.
Don't go, or usually if you are bad with money, you go to Dutch Brothers. Okay. Don't go to Dutch.
No. You're not going to Dutch Brothers. You're going to the Fast Mart on Central Ave, and you're getting a gas station coffee from there. That's your
yes, Fast Mart. Yes, okay, Fast Mart. Actually, I don't know if they have coffee at Fast Mart now that I think about it. Oh, I'll have to double check. I mean, like, we're talking about freshly brewed. I don't think they actually. Oh, wait, I take that back. I think they do. I just never go to that section. I gotta get some cheap coffee down there.
The pictures of it on Google have it all boarded up. Maybe that's an old picture.
So the reason behind that is because I think I broke it. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But no, what happened was there were some people that were trying to break into some of the buildings around here, and then the owner of Fastmart decided to get kind of smart about it. And he decided to put like some steel, like little steel frames to prevent people from breaking in, essentially. And which is pretty smart, man. I got to give him props on that. It's actually a smart move.
Yeah, I'm just checking out the reviews here.
I love the Fast Mart, by the way. They have the.
Wait a minute! 4 years ago, 1 star. When I poured my fountain drink, I saw an ant at the top. So after that, I poured out my drink to get a new one, and there were 7 ants inside the cup.
Holy shit! Really? And we're talking about the Fast Mart that's like right next to Dutch Brothers, right?
Yeah, and this one, 3 years ago, staff was very disrespectful. Fast Mart says, "Sorry, Corbin, we have changed the person. Please visit us again." But all the rest of the reviews are pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love Fast Mart, dude. Every time I go in there, it's great. I like to go into the beer cave and see what sort of beer they have. And the beer cave is basically their freezer area. And if it's a hot summer day, you just go to the Fast Mart, go to their freezer area for a bit, cool off, get yourself a nice little tall boy, go down to the park and just drink.
11 months ago, Rebecca Stanley says 5 stars, cheap tobacco in tubes and cold drinks.
I'm a little afraid, though, to drink out of their fountain now that you mentioned the whole ant thing. I've never actually gotten a fountain drink from Fast Mart, but hopefully they probably improved since then. When was that review left? Like 4 years ago?
That was 11 months ago, yeah.
Oh, 11 months ago.
Oh, wait, about the ants?
Yeah, the ants, yeah.
That was like 4 years ago, yeah.
Oh, 4 years ago? Okay.
Oh,
hopefully.
Laura Parker, 5 stars. Has an impressive selection of cannabis products.
Yep.
And the store clerk is always playing patient. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so, Corbin Walker, staff was disrespectful. Unsightly entrance, but extremely friendly staff. Wide variety of tobacco products. Someone named Abyss from 4 years ago.
I wonder if they mentioned my boy Corey on there. Corey's one of the cashiers I usually see over there. And
he's tall and skinny? Is he tall and skinny?
He's kind of tall and skinny, yeah.
Yeah, someone mentioned that. They're like, where the hell is it?
He's a little taller and skinny, yeah. He's a skinny dude. He usually wears like an ICP shirt and stuff like that.
Yeah, said something about like the staff was good except for the tall, skinny guy or something. But whatever.
I love Corey though, man. If anybody's got a problem with Corey, they're a fucking hater and they're a fucking Karen. Because Corey's the man, dude. He's very courteous to everybody, even if he's in a bit of a bad mood. Like he's still like pretty damn courteous and he's still pretty respectful. So I've seen how he interacts with people there. So if anybody's got any problems with Corey, they got a problem with me, dude. Corey's the man.
Nice. I'm looking at Margarita's Mexican Grill. You ever go there?
Yes, actually, I've been there with my girlfriend. My neighbors work at that restaurant. A couple of my neighbors do. They're pretty cool. They speak purely Spanish though, so I really don't understand. Whenever we talk to each other, we have to use like Google Translate and shit. But it's really cool though. It's really cool being able to like kind of talk to them a little bit and kind of understand Google Translate makes it to where I can really understand them, which is really super dope. And it makes it to where they can understand me too, which is kind of cool.
Same thing. Good reviews and then some bad ones. Like, where's a funny one? I think this one 4 years ago violates COVID rules daily. Please be safe.
Oh God, I call those COVID Karens. COVID Karens, dude. If there's any sort of like, they're violating the COVID rules, it's like, dude, when COVID happened, this is another reason why I'll never vote Democrat again, because I know these fucking Karens are voting for Obama and Biden. So for like 4 or 3 years ago, something like that. I think it was about like 4 years ago, most likely in 2021. I think it was either the beginning of 2021 or kind of towards the end of it. I can't remember, but I was at a laundromat. And at the laundromat, some terrible bitch gets pissed off at me because I wasn't wearing a mask. And she's like, "Do you have your mask with you?" Like, this wasn't an employee, by the way. This is like a legit patron. And then I did have a mask on me just in case, but I wasn't wearing it. Like I never wore it. I just had it on me just in case the establishment did requirement. But other than that, I just walked in anywhere I wanted without a mask. And then this bitch had me show her my mask. I was like, here's my mask. I have a mask. You happy? And then she's like, yeah. And then 5 minutes later, she's like, I see that you're not wearing your mask. And I'm like, I see that you're not minding your own fucking business. I was like, dude, I'm just doing my laundry. I'm staying away from you, bitch. So like, just back the fuck off. But no, I hated mask Karens. There was only like a couple in my town that gave me shit about it. I told them to basically fuck the right off. Like, I was just like, fuck off, you fucking Karen. But yeah, no, Karens pissed me off to no end.
Yeah, I remember. No, that was that used to happen back then. You get in arguments. I remember one guy on the train, some old guy. I was like the only one without a mask. He started arguing with me, and I don't know. He's happened all the time, back in the day.
It's ridiculous, man. It was dumb, and then that's like one of the reasons why I don't like. I mean, one of the reasons I would never vote Democrat anyway, whether COVID have happened or not. But it's like I will like never, ever, ever because of COVID, I will never vote Democrat ever. Like, because I know first off, like there's not a chance. Like there wasn't really much of a chance before, but like maybe 10% if like Andrew Yang or something like that. But now, if you say you're Democrat, it's a 0% chance I'm voting for you. Never, I will never, like, because of COVID, like it's 0%. It is 0% I'm voting Democrat because Democrats, the parties become too retarded for me to handle. I can't handle it anymore. Like,
but what's who's the Jasmine Cricket or whatever? She's in charge of the party now. Is like Jasmine Cricket, that black lady.
all I know is the Democrat Party, whoever they're run by, I hope that they do a better job. Because like I will never vote Democrat again. But if the Democrats want to regain voters, they need to actually stop pandering to these crazy people. Like,
Yeah.
it's becoming one of the reasons why more people voted for Trump than Kamala was not because they liked Trump better. They were just like, at least this guy has a bit of a vision, and I think he would be better than America than this incompetent woman or man. Doesn't matter. People thought Biden was incompetent. People thought Kamala was incompetent. I thought both of them were pretty damn equally incompetent. If you just because they sucked, I don't know. Like they just, I swear to God, the people that go into those levels of government tend to be the most. They're like really good at making, doing speeches, reading off a teleprompter and stuff. But man, they don't know what they're actually doing. They're just good at being charismatic. That's about it. And I'm sorry, I don't really care about charisma. All I care about is effectiveness, which is one of the reasons why I'm a huge Trump fanboy, because I feel like he's effective, but he's also a good trash talker, which makes him entertaining as well. So it's like it's a win-win for everybody, in my opinion.
Yeah, and these people are supposed to be charismatic, though. It's like, was Kamala charismatic? It's like, I think that's why they got Tim Walz, because he was funny in front of crowds and stuff. But can anyone stand him for more than 30 seconds?
Yeah.
Like, I don't get it,
Tim Walz, man. Oh my God. Ugh. Jesus Christ, that guy sucks.
You know what I found out is, remember like a month ago when that helicopter crashed into that airplane in DC and it all like blew up?
What did anything ever come of that? Like, did they ever like investigate what happened there?
I mean, they found out the pilot was a female, and her co-pilot was telling her like you're gonna crash, like you got to turn, and she didn't turn or something like that. So then they just crashed in. And
oh Jesus!
I don't know. And what was the other one?
Like I don't. Here's the thing, man. Like I don't think it's because they're female. I think it's because. So I think the thing is this. I think it's like I think they're hiring people who aren't ready. You know what I mean? And they're only doing it for an image thing, by the way. The company itself wants to look at be like, hey, look at all these, female pilots we got. It's like, it's good. If as long as they're capable, all I care about is, are you capable of flying a plane? Like, I don't even care like what gender you are, man. It doesn't matter. Or have you at least done enough flight simulation? Have you, gotten your 10,000 hours or whatever amount of hours you have to do to prove that you can actually fly a commercial plane? But damn, dude, that's wild. I'm hoping that they weren't. I'm hoping they weren't DEI hires. I'm hoping. But
oh, sorry. What the hell just happened?
Oh, you're good.
No, I'm looking at something.
Oh, okay.
What am I seeing here? Here, hang on. Sorry, just 1 second.
Oh, take your time, brother. Take your time. I'm just thinking about. I'm going to look at this comment real quick, and I'm just going to answer a comment real fast. Let's see. So S47AS says, so what causes gold to lose value? So in my experience, gold is usually measured. Gold value is a tough one to measure. Usually it's because the dollar is getting less valuable. So when the dollar becomes less valuable, in my experience, usually the price of gold raises. So if you see gold shooting up in value, that usually means currencies are getting pretty weak, in my opinion, because gold doesn't produce anything. Gold is just, and then in the long run, it really is just a shiny rock, but it is a shiny rock with a lot of utility. So therefore it does have value. So anything that's rare, anything that actually has utility. So my equation is rareness, utility, and really, I mean, when it comes to commodities, it's all you can really measure a commodity's intrinsic value by is its usefulness. Like, what can you do with it? If I sold gold to Tim Smith, he would be able to break it down. He'd be able to use it as a conductor for electricity. He'd be able to. It's malleable. He could put it in jewelry to make it look better. Blah blah blah. The list goes on. But yeah, it just depends on the utility. The same thing with silver. Silver has a lot of has a lot of usefulness too. So it just depends on the usefulness and the rarity of the metal. So gold is really my favorite one to look at if I want to figure out how bad the dollar is doing. Because if I see gold shoot up in value, it means and if it's measured in dollars at that time, so gold against the dollar is usually a good way to find out how shitty the dollar actually is, or how shitty your current currency is, depending on which currency you're looking at.
And the other problem with gold, why it never really takes off, is because it's constantly being mined. We constantly have more of it.
Yep.
And like I read somewhere that there's as much gold per person on the earth right now available as there was during the Roman Empire. Like there's the same amount per person because we keep mining more of it.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter that there's more people. So because of that, gold never really explodes in value, because it's just we keep getting more of it.
Another thing that you got to think about though is check this out. The devaluation of the dollar, because the dollar keeps getting printed, in a weird way, gold can be kind of a safe haven against inflation. So if you're looking to make sure that you at least protect yourself against inflation, honestly, holding on to gold is not the worst thing in the world. I still think it's good to hold on to a little bit of cash, but you want to definitely have some sort of commodities backing yourself up a little bit, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah, but people hold gold for emergencies. And my problem with that is if there's an actual emergency, your gold's not going to do anything for you. Like, what if you have no food and you want to use your gold to your neighbor who has a family isn't going to trade you a giant box of soup cans for your gold. What are they supposed to do with the gold? Eat the gold? I don't know what you're supposed to do with this gold in an emergency. No one's going to take it unless they already have. Oh, never mind. We don't need our food. We'll take your gold and we'll eat a tree outside or something. So I don't know. Maybe you can use it. Maybe you can't. I don't know what it's used for. Maybe in drug dealing. Maybe gold and diamonds is good. I don't really know. Maybe weapons, illegal weapons trading. I don't know.
I mean, that could actually be one way to do it.
Yeah, there's a market for gold. I just feel why am I going to stick it in gold when you can have dividends compounding? And then if something actually did happen, some crazy emergency, you've got to be able to sell it to someone who actually buy it from you.
Yeah.
That's the thing about that Pawn Stars show, that pawn shop show. People will come in and the expert will say, okay, this is worth $5,000. And the guy's like, okay, I'll give you $1,100. And then the guy's like, well, I just heard the guy say it's worth $5,000. He's like, yeah, well, if you can go find someone who'll give you $5,000, go ahead. I'm right here. I'll give you, how about $1,300? Because then I've got to store it. I've got to market it. I've got to package it and ship it. I got to frame it. I got to have it be restored. I got to do whatever. So that's the thing. It's a lot of stuff. You go on eBay. There's stuff on eBay. like I'll look up pumpkin stuff, different things, like stuff that's like they want $3,000 for like a rare LP or something, but that's just what they're asking for it. They might get $200 for it. So it's like no one, like, you know, so you gotta, that's the thing about buying and selling, is you gotta have someone actually buy from you. You gotta actually have that market. So I mean, it gets really crazy. Collectibles, gold, diamonds. I'm just like, how about I just let all these NASDAQ tech companies send me dividends every month, we'll reinvest them. And then I can take the cash if I want. You can take your cash directly to like Burger King and get like the new spicy chicken fries. I'm literally eating, like, how am I supposed to do all that with all this other stuff? Like, you can do it if you know what you're doing. Same with real estate. I just feel like for someone like me who doesn't want to, I don't want to have to upend my whole life to become a gold trader.
Yeah.
I just want to click on stuff in my bank account and have dividend stock.
Honestly, if you want exposure to gold, just own gold mining companies. Like, straight up, there's a lot of publicly traded gold mining companies. You could legitimately buy one share of each of those. And as long as they're quality companies that mine for gold, you're pretty much like on the right path. So,
well, I remember Kevin O'Leary talked about that. He's like, I don't really like investing in gold mining companies because it's such a hassle to actually mine the gold. And then half these companies have like strikes going on and labor problems, and someone gets like stuck in the mine and dies, and then it's a lawsuit.
Shit. That's why you diversify.
Like, yeah, but he's like, how about this? You get the gold out of the ground. Let me know when you've got it, and then we'll make it. You know? But I know a lot of ETFs up here have like gold mines in their ETFs just to reduce like the actual risk. Because if you have gold, it's like another, like, it's like considered, it'll reduce the risk of the ETF. Maybe take it from like high risk to medium risk or something.
Yeah.
You have a lot of gold companies. So.
That's true. I mean, like, yeah, anytime I can get exposure to like different mining companies, whether it's like lithium mining companies, silver, gold, you name it, man. I just, like I said, I'm a diversification hoe. I'm a hoe for diversification. If I were to summarize my damn philosophy in one word, it would be diversified. That's it. Yeah. Like, I'm just like, I'm everywhere, man. I'm everywhere and I'm nowhere at the same time.
Man, well, we'll see. That's my plan long term, but we'll see. I got to build this up first.
But I need to build up my covered calls, though. I need to build up my covered calls in my portfolio a little bit. You got to get that income. I got to get some solid income.
Look at that channel I sent you, Passive Income Investing, and look at his U.S. holdings. Like, sometimes he'll just talk about his Canadian ones, but other times he'll talk about what he's got on his American one. Because this guy's from Canada, but he moved down to Panama. He lives in Panama, and he makes like, I don't know, $10,000, $20,000 a month in dividends. And I think it's cheaper to live down there. Like, he seems like he's Italian. I don't know. Maybe he's French. Maybe he's Panamanian. But he lives in Panama, and he and it's some like tax thing down there. Like, it had like, there's certain Canadian ETFs he had to get rid of because the tax implications were different or something like that. And anyway, things got weird. But he does have both Canadian and US ETFs. So, and his whole thing is high income. So
yeah. And
actually, if I sold everything I have and bought MSTE, the micro strategy, high income covered call leverage shares, I would have over $1,000 a month right now in dividends, in like distributions. Yeah. But it's just like, I'm not going to do that. I'll just keep it as part of my other one. But it's like, you know, but the security guard at my work, he bought some MSTE. So we'll see what happens.
But yeah, and it's funny because there's a lot of the ones that I try to avoid, though, are any sort of like ETFs that have like a K1 form. Now, luckily, there's not a ton out there, but when it comes to like derivatives and shit, I do try to like avoid, like I said, the K1 forms. This is basically just little forms they send out. Like usually it's very frustrating because it makes taxes a little more annoying because they usually send them right after you're done doing taxes. Because I usually do my taxes at the beginning of March, and then they'll get like this fucking K1 form like in April, and I'm like, what the fuck's this about? And it's usually, I only usually have like one share of each of these, so in the long run, it's not a big deal. But like, I hate K1 forms with a passion. I'm just gonna say that right now.
What are K1 forms for?
So they're like, I still don't even know. They're basically what you add. I think it's some form of taxable income, but if you only have like a share of whatever you have, it's going to be like, you're probably going to be taxed like a penny or two or something. or even like maybe 10 cents. But I'm not a tax expert on that. But yeah, for the most parts, I avoid anything that has a K1 form, and I try to look and see if that company, or I should say, usually it's like ETFs. So not all ETFs, by the way. It's very rare, but like there will be some on rare occasions, depending on the type of exchange traded fund it is, where it may have to actually put. I think it's usually commodities. Now that I think about it, it's usually commodity ETFs or some sort of commodity partnerships where you do have to try to avoid K1s. Now there are commodity ETFs where you don't have to get K1s, which is really nice. But yeah, I'm not an expert in it. I would look up a little more information. All I know is that they're annoying. That's all I know.
Oh man, that's a nightmare. Oh man, I'm down to my last Advil. Maybe I should take it. Instead of drinking beer, I've been taking Advils and see what happens. It seems like it's way less calories.
Advils, you don't want to get too dependent on those. But you could. Oh well, that's a long receipt.
It's my last grocery receipt. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you about that. We just started in Canada. You can buy Taco Bell products at the grocery store now. So like seasoning, sauce.
Oh, you get their sauce, dude.
Yeah, I bought some, but here's the thing: I go to the store I go to, and I get the points like it's Freshco through my bank. You get scene points. So like sometimes you'll buy like I don't know 2 orange juices, get like 50 points or whatever, and then 1,000 points is $10 off groceries. So there's a few times where I've had like 10,000 points. I've got like $100 off. Anyway, a lot of times you have to spend like $10 to get 200 points or $15. Anyway, they had the Taco Bell seasonings on like $1. What are they? $1.79. $1.69. Buy 2, get 200 points. So it's basically spend $3, get 200 points. So I like loaded up with so many of these that I walked out of there with thousands of points. So next time I go there, I've got like $50 off groceries. But but it's gonna be a taco summer. I've got a giant box of like this. I bought some of the sauces because those are 200 points too. So I got to get some taco stuff now. But it's gonna be tacos all summer now.
Taco Tuesday, baby. Hell yeah, dude.
These packages.
So I am going to be doing a show a little bit later tonight. I got inspired earlier. I just want to actually hold on, I'm going to comment real quick on the sauces. So if you see Diablo sauce, definitely get it because the Diablo sauce from Taco Bell is the greatest. If they have it in a glass container,
they had the glass ones. They had regular and fire. I bought 2 fire sauces.
They didn't have Diablo though.
No, they didn't have them.
Dude, I've been looking for Diablo. The moment they start selling the Diablo sauces in the containers, I'm fucking buying like 10 of them. Like, dude, that's how much I love the Diablo sauce because one, it does have a kick to it, but it actually tastes really motherfucking good. So if there's, I specifically, whenever I order, because I don't order Taco Bell a lot, but when I do, I order it in the app and I'll try to get like 15 or 20 Diablo sauce packets for myself so I could use it on other shit. That's how much I love the Diablo sauce, dude. I'm addicted to it.
Nice. Yeah, I'm not really living near a Taco Bell anymore, but I kind of remember. I remember the Baja Blast.
Yes.
I used to get Baja Blast.
The best Mountain Dew of all time, dude. Now, here's the thing. Getting Baja Blast, the soda itself, they actually have the Mountain Dew Baja Blast in the plastic container, but it's not the same. The formula that they make for Taco Bell specifically is, I don't know, it's otherworldly. I can't explain it. Like, I'm a huge shill for the Baja Blast fountain drink at Taco Bell any day of the week, dude. It's the greatest of all time. Best Mountain Dew ever.
Man, what about you ever go to Blue Heron Bistro?
Oh, the German restaurant, Blue Heron.
What's hilarious is that the owner argues with people when they leave a bad review. Like some of the people leaving bad reviews, and he writes like a 10-page essay about how they're wrong.
So let me get this straight. No, are you looking these reviews up on like Google Maps or something?
Yeah, I'm just clicking on Google Maps and clicking on the reviews. Like this one, a year ago, the waitress was extremely rude. One of our party wanted if they just have some bread. They were told no, they can't do that. Blah blah blah. And then the owner, the owner didn't respond to that one. He responds to most of them.
That's funny though, dude. I love it. The owner's biting back a little bit on bad reviews. I dig it. He's
Yeah,
like, no.
he's like, this lovely man had only appetizers and spent $68 and didn't pay for his clam chowder. This poor excuse for a gentleman decided to get up and walk over to other booth and start talking about the food. Upon him leaving the table clapped, this fella needs a hug and perhaps a trip to Disneyland. So yeah, he fights with the people who leave bad reviews.
Dude, the owner's awesome. I don't know if I know the owner, but that makes me want to go to the Blue Heron even more. I've been there one time, and it was with one of my buddies. His name is Sean, and we basically just got a beer together there after work when we were still working at the call center in town. And well, at least when the call center was all, everybody was working at a building, and we went there after work one day, and we just basically, I got like a big old beer, dude. It was like, I can't even describe how it was, like almost the size of a big old boot. And but yeah, the environment's really nice. The Blue Heron's pretty good. I never actually ate there before though. I just went down there to have some. My buddy wanted to eat, but I was like, I was being cheap that night, so I was like, I'm just gonna get a couple beers and then I'll eat later. And but yeah, it was really cool. Blue Heron's a great place though, honestly. And I love the fact that the owner is willing to fight the customers that do bad reviews, especially if he knows that they're talking shit for no reason. Like that's pretty legit, dude. I kind of appreciate that, because I like to call them Karen reviewers, where like they nitpick bullshit. Like they're just like nitpicking a bunch of crap, and it's just like, dude, no, you're a fucking cunt, and you're just fucking nitpicking on your fucking Yelp review or whatever. And I don't know. I find that shit entertaining.
Yeah, this one, some woman gave it a 1 star, and then the owner's claiming that they were looking at the wrong, because they thought food was there, but it was different food than they had. And the owner's like, you were looking at a menu from a different restaurant in the same name that's in New York. That's why we didn't have this food you were looking for. And then,
man.
Yeah, he's like, you gave us this is the owner. He's like, just a whole unpleasant experience from the moment you walked in. Do us all a favor and don't return. Not to mention, after looking at your profile, all 12 reviews just complaining and handing out 1 stars. Maybe try McDonald's next time. So.
Dude, dude, that guy's the man. Dude, that is fucking great. Like, honestly, I might even do an entire show just reading Blue Heron reviews and just reading like those word for word, dude, because that's glorious, dude. That guy's the man. Have you ever seen a business do that? Where like the owner
sometimes on Kitchen Nightmares, like sometimes Kitchen Nightmares, though, someone will like one of the owners fought with people on Facebook and stuff. Mm-hmm. That was Amy's Baking Company. Remember Amy's Baking Company on Kitchen Nightmares? That was a crazy lady and her husband. And
I think I saw some clips on like online about. I think I know what you're talking about.
She would go on and argue on Facebook with the reviews and stuff, and then Gordon Ramsay called her out on it.
Oh my goodness, that's funny shit, dude.
Man,
that's good.
Yeah, so it's not that often. Most people are just like, "Oh, sorry, you didn't have a good experience," but this guy's like arguing with all of them.
I just realized something. I think they took down the porta potties.
Really?
Yeah, hold on. I'm checking real quick. Hold on. Let me see if the porta potties are still there. Support. Okay. False alarm. So I love having the porta potties down here, because this is like a second office for me. And so like whenever I'm down here, sometimes I'm like, dude, now I'm able to do more shows and stuff. And by the way, did you hear I think I told you this already, but I got unlimited data on my phone now.
Okay. So what does that mean? That means
I could do more shows.
Okay, so if you're not connecting to Wi-Fi, you're on data, right?
I'm on data right now, dude. Pure data.
Nice. That sounds good. Unlimited shows. Yeah, you got to start doing some from these restaurants. Now you're out in the park, but now you got to start moving indoors.
Exactly. I could start doing like live reviews where I actually eat in front. I could just set up my tripod and be like, all right, this is my live reaction to whatever I'm getting here.
Yeah, you got to go to Miller's at the Cove.
Miller's, I don't think I've been there. Yeah,
that's out in Crown Point near Barview.
I was gonna say I don't know if Seven Devils will let me in anymore because of my surprise concert that I did at the Tesla charging stations, and then also because of my they might not even notice, hopefully, but they'll be like, "Hey, weren't you that fucking weirdo that was on meth?" They'll probably think I was on meth or something, but I think most people in this town, if they see me with my little tripod, they assume that I'm probably just like trying to film porn in the streets or something like that. So, which is a good assumption, by the way. I look like the kind of guy that would try to film porn in public, but
go to Vinny's Smoking Good Burgers and Sandwiches.
Oh, I love Vinny's, dude. The one in North Bend. Fuck yeah, dude. It's like right next to the McDonald's.
This guy named Barry Robinson reviewed it with 1 star 4 months ago. I moved here from another state. I only wanted tater tots, but some rude high school age employee attempted to charge me $10.99. Not only are the
$10.99 for tots?
Yeah, he says
that's criminal. This motherfucker is kind of criminal.
Someone got a questionable smoke-loaded mac and cheese. They gave it 1 star.
Yeah,
you gotta do so. That'd be a cool new thing to add to your channel. Food reviews live at the restaurant.
Yeah, because you know how the what's his nuts? What's that one guy that you showed? Like, no, I knew about him before, but like you introduced me to him.
Report of the week.
Yes, report of the week. He does it after he gets it. I want to do it right as I get it. I want people to see the full experience. You know what I mean? I want to like have you.
He used to do. He hasn't done a live stream in 5 years.
5 years.
But he used to do that 5 years ago. He used to like do live reviews, and then he would. One time he would do it like he used to sit in his car or do it from different places. Now he's only at home. It seems. Oh, he just said something's absolutely horrible. It's the Cajun Crunch spicy chicken sandwich from Wendy's.
Oh shit!
He reviewed the McDonald's Minecraft movie meal. I had some Burger King the other day. What did I have for Burger King?
BK, dude. BK's where it's at.
I had a coupon. I had a coupon for their quarter pounder thing, and then I got something else too. But big save. Yeah, what games are on? Montreal, Washington's right now. And then I think it's LA and Edmonton later.
Now, it's the first round of the playoffs right now for hockey, right?
Yeah, first round, yeah.
Because the hockey playoffs pretty much start at the same time the NBA ones do for the most part, if I remember right.
What's going on with that Deion Sanders' son? He didn't get drafted till the 3rd round?
That, I was actually kind of surprised. Because here's the thing, Shadur Sanders is actually a pretty good quarterback. Like he looked NFL ready. Like I saw a lot of his highlight reels and a lot of the games. His stats were really good. Like I don't understand. Like I think it's because he didn't treat the interview process very well. So all the different teams were interviewing the draft prospects to see if they wanted to try to draft him. And a lot of the teams were kind of off-put by because he didn't seem to be taking his interviews very seriously or something like that. And what else was there?
What is it where a college player has like an NIL deal? Is it like name, image, likeness?
Yeah, he had a lot of that. He had a lot of those deals.
Comedian Josh Denny said that was what it was the NFL telling him, just because you have a name, image, likeness deal doesn't mean like you get anything here kind of thing or something.
Here's the thing, man. He's got a chip on his shoulder now because he was projected originally to go in the first round. Like he was projected to be like a top 5 pick or at least a top 10 on most draft boards. And he goes in the 4th or 5th round. Actually, he goes in the 5th round, like at 114th or 144th pick. I don't even know what the count was at the time, but he really is a talented player. And even if he wasn't taking those interviews seriously, he's still young. Let him be a little cocky. Because sometimes they got to get that out of him. So
it's a weird thing though, because it's like they're interviewing you to draft you. Like if you're going to be a higher pick, you're probably going to go to like a worse team because that's who's going to get the pick. Like, why would you want to impress anyone and go to like the last place team?
That actually makes more sense. But he went to the Browns anyway, though. He went to the Cleveland Browns, which are already a shit show. So he kind of loses no matter what in this instance. But
that happened in NHL one time. This guy named Nail Yakupov from Russia, he gave like really bad interviews People said it was one. He almost got in a fight with someone in one of the interviews, and it's like he gave in the draft interviews, and then he still ended up got taken fairly high, but he didn't really have a good career or something. He didn't have like a good, and he ended up back in Russia or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that never used to be a thing. Like there was so much less information in previous decades. You would just pick someone like some scouts saw in one place. Now they give them their full like even hockey does what football does now, where they do like a combine where they want to see like how much you can lift and how fast you can jump and everything. So they do that. They do like a pre-interview and all this stuff, and it's just like I don't know how useful much of it is, but see, hockey's different. It's not like a big strength thing. Like the athletes are way better now, but still, it's more just like there's like skinny guys who have like hard shots in hockey. It's more just like it's kind of like golf. Like you can be like a skinny guy in golf and still like drive it like 500 yards. So there's all like it's more like technique and stuff. But I don't know how useful it is, but whatever. I can see an NFL because NFL is positionally is very different. Like offensive line's a totally different thing than like a defensive back or something. It's like a totally different sport almost. So.
Well, I realized. I realized something real quick. I realized I've been streaming for over 2 hours and 25 minutes on this thing. So I'll probably we'll give it 5 more minutes. Is there anything we could talk about in the last 5 minutes that you could think of that would be fun to talk about, or anything that you want to talk about specifically?
Let's see.
We can keep talking. We keep talking hockey, actually, like you were.
Yeah, Shadir Sanders prank call controversy. What was that?
So
Sanders
I guess yeah. So supposedly he was prank called on his like there's a phone number that he has specifically for like internal stuff, and I guess somehow the internet got a hold of that phone number. I don't know how they did it, but they were able to somebody prank called him and said that he got picked. That's a little cruel, but I'm happy he got picked is the ultimate thing. You know, because he's talented enough to be pickable. You know, he should have been picked already. He really is a talent. But
man, so I don't know. Yeah, I'm just looking at the news. Let's see what Gavin's got today.
Let's
see if Jim Goad's back. I think Jim Goad's done. Maybe he's dead. No one's seen him in weeks. He would always post a show. He would always post a show Sunday evening, and he just quit. And so I don't know. I told you about him. He thought he would leave Georgia and move out to New Mexico, and then he gets there, and he doesn't have enough money to buy the house he wanted, so they're renting some other house that he doesn't like. And that was the last time he said. He didn't have a lot of money. I don't know. So anyway, I don't know what's going on with him, but he seems to have vanished. But I still have to go the 10% off Goat code to get my 10% off my subscribe. But I'm also on Billy Corgan's Substack again. So sometimes I post stuff there.
No, hell yeah.
And he might like it or comment or something. But who did he have on this week? He had Stone Temple Pilots were his
shit, dude.
Interview. Yeah. On YouTube is his interview show. So that's about it right there. Let's see, anything else? Off topic show.
Tom Green this weekend. This upcoming weekend.
Already coming up?
Yeah, it's coming up here this coming weekend, yep. I took a little extra days off though, just in between, even though it's gonna be during the weekend. I took a few days off in between just to kind of get away from work a little bit and not have to think about work as much as possible.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of stuff he does. If it's just straight stand-up, I wonder if he shows clips from his like past shows and stuff. I don't know.
That would be awesome, man. That'd be sick.
Yeah, maybe show me some inside info.
Oh, we got Mr. Donaldson real quick. He's saying, still at it. Wow. Yeah, dude, we are 2 hour. I know Tim Smith came on at the hour mark. He came in at the 1 hour mark around that time. Or maybe not. I don't know. I can't remember exactly, but I had been trying to get somebody on stream, and I was like, well, maybe Tim Smith could be the first streamer at the park. But Tim, you might be the first guest on any sort of live YouTube thing in this park. I don't know if anybody's ever done this before, so you might be the first guest.
Nice.
But
Yeah.
they've had news crews down here, obviously, but they've never. I don't think there's ever been a YouTube live where there have been two people talking at Mingus Park.
You gotta go
style.
right from here to the Coos Bay History Museum and let them know. You just made a new thing.
Just fucking show them this. I'll be like, just watch this. You'll see that this is history.
Yeah, they can set it up in their museum. There's like a screen where it just plays this stream over and over, and it'll have like a little plaque, first ever live stream from Mingus Park.
First ever live YouTube stream. I'm pretty sure somebody's done Facebook live stuff, like fancy stuff, but I don't think anybody's ever tried to do a YouTube interview.
Well, tell them there's been a lot of police body cam footage from Mingus Park, and some of that might be live.
Oh man!
All right, well, I gotta go watch the new Alex Rosen. I gotta see who he caught.
Oh my man, dude. Well, actually, I think Alex might be here already. So no, I'm just kidding. Like he just showed up. Shit, I gotta get out. All right, brother. I'll let you get back to it, man. But hey, thanks for being the first Mingus Park guest. This is the first time I've had a guest on the show outside of the apartment.
Is this going to be controversial, like when they put Katy Perry in space last week?
We're gonna get made fun of. We're gonna get criticized up the ass about it.
I might be the first Canadian in Mingus Park.
Oh my god, dude!
Go tell the History Museum you did an international live stream, the first ever Mingus Park. And
oh my god. YouTube. Dude, we're making fucking rounds of history right here, dude. This is Guinness Book of World Record shit right here, dude. So,
yeah, you gotta put the term Coos Bay in your video titles more. You gotta get like locals behind you, and then you start a GoFundMe, a Patreon, and locals are supporting you because you're showing what Coos Bay's all about. So, yeah, I don't know. That's what I would do. We'll see. I might do that for my hometown. I'm thinking of starting a channel, so we'll see. Dude,
hey, if you start a channel, man, I will 100% support it, dude. I will advertise the shit out of that for free because anything you do, man, I'm a shill. I love shilling my friends, and I think that would be cool. So
nice, sounds good. Okay, I better go, but I'll see. Oh yeah, I got that video you sent me about the frog at the furries. That was fun.
Yes. Oh, that was good shit, dude. Freaking Alex Stein's producer, man, killed it.
Yeah, Alex has been doing a lot lately. He did another thing lately where he was at a city council talking about the women in space. I don't know if you saw that one.
Yes.
He's like, I don't think we should be putting lesbians in space. And it's like, it was so funny.
That was pretty funny, actually. Dude, I love it. His city council meeting skits are insanely incredible. It's like Tom Green's sense of humor, but to the next level. It's like in real life comedy at another scale.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Anyway, we'll see what he does next. Man, all right. Well, I got to make sure I got enough frozen pizzas. That's the key to NHL playoffs is having enough frozen pizzas ready because something could go into triple overtime, and then you've run out. Like I ran out of rum last week. Like after the first overtime in one of the games, I had to eat a second. I had to pop open a second. Which, by the way, these stuffed crust frozen pizzas are fake. The crust isn't stuffed. The picture on the box has like cheese like oozing out of it, and then you get it, and it's like you break open the crust. There's nothing oozing out. It's a slightly yellow color, like there's some popcorn butter in there or something. But there's nothing cheese. Like I didn't taste any cheese. I didn't see any cheese. It just kind of
it's some bullshit, dude. I know what you're talking about. I've got a DiGiorno like that once. So the DiGiorno pizza where like they just had barely any cheese in the crust. I'm like, this is supposed to be some goddamn stuffed crust pizza. What the fuck? Bullshit. I almost went full Karen.
Papa John's was stuffing entire hot dogs in their crust for a while, and it's like the frozen pizza ones. We get nothing. I think it's popcorn butter. I don't know what's in there.
Oh man.
All right, I gotta catch up on some stuff, but we'll see what happens with this hockey. I'll let you know tomorrow night in the Canadian election. I don't know what time we first get results. Might not be till like 8:00 or something, or 9. I don't know. I'm thinking 8:00, but
it's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna try to keep an eye on it, and I'm gonna be.
I worked a polling station last time they did one like a few years ago, and it was like the longest day ever. We got there at 5 a.m. or something. I didn't get home till like 2 a.m.
Oh shit, dude!
Yeah, because you got to make sure everything's done right. Then you got to take the ballots, drive them to the central location. wait in line, drop them off there, sign a bunch of stuff. I did get a giant check though. I don't remember how much they paid me. It might have been like $600-700 or something.
Damn,
for one day, but
dude, that's fucking tight.
It's regular and then overtime and then time and a half and double over, like all kinds of stuff. So.
Damn, dude.
I didn't do it this year though. But.
I want to ballot harvest. I want to go to Canada and ballot harvest.
So funny. Illegal ballot harvesting. Sounds good. Okay, I gotta go, but yeah, give me some Coos Bay food reviews.
Dude, I would love to do some. Dude, I'm gonna try to think of a list of places I could go to, kind of maybe some restaurants, and then just like see what I can pull off.
Go to that one where the owner argues back.
Blue Heron, yeah, dude. Yeah. Honestly, I will go to the Blue Heron and I'll like maybe get some cheap dish or something, and just kind of I'll be honest about the review, and I would laugh so hard if the owner sees my camera set up and be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" It's like, don't worry, I'm not a Karen, dude. But I can interview the owner while eating the food. I can be like eating the food and talking to the owner.
Give him a bad review while you're eating and start like a viral moment.
That would actually
be something like, "Hey, I've been to Germany 9 times and not once did I see any chicken fingers. This whole restaurant's fake." Start like arguing.
Dude.
Yeah, leave a bad review on the Google and then just start a war with them that ends with you showing up there with a camera to confront him on his fake restaurant.
That would be kind of funny, man. That would be some good controversial material.
Yeah, you have a showdown at Mingus Park.
Like an old Western draw we'll just have our backs to each other. We'll take 3, 4, 5 steps, then turn around and shoot. That'd be terrible.
Yeah, you're each holding like a sweet and sour meatball, and you got to throw it at each other.
That'd be funny. All right, Mr. Tim, I'll let you get back to it, partner. I'm probably going to end this stream here in just a second, but I'll catch you later, man.
All right, I'll see you later.
Bye, man. Later. All right, it was our boy Tim Smith. So we're just going to read the last comment real quick. So Michael Donaldson says real quick, news crews, did you kick that? No, I don't know. I just I got the cops called. I mean, just kidding. But we do want to give a big shout out to Tim Smith for being he set some sort of record. I don't know what it is, but he is the first virtual guest on a YouTube stream that's at Mingus Park, I think. I'm assuming that's on YouTube. So shout out to my boy. Thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you guys for indulging this. It was very fun to have a guest. This is the first time I've had by the way, this is Michael Garza show history. I've never had a virtual guest on the show outside of the apartment or outside of the home I live in. So this is a very first for the show. Lots of firsts today, but it was very cool to be able to talk to Tim Smith out in public in the park. That was really dope. But yeah, no. Anyway, I want to thank you guys. I am tired. I got to go. I want to go home, make some food. So I'm going to make some food. I may do another live stream. I'm not going to promise anything to you guys, but I'll think about it. But I'll catch you guys later. I actually don't know how to end this. Oh, here we go. There's the end button. Thank you guys for tuning in. And to those who didn't tune in live, who tuned in later, thank you for tuning in at all. I appreciate it big time. Thank you. Later, guys.